Blade, ready to die.
I was born ready, motherfucker.
Hello, welcome to our watch party / comics show. We have a full house. We have Connor Irving.
That's me.
We have the double Johns, Siler and Scott.
To date this podcast, I just got done watching Backlash, WWE Backlash, which was with a big group of friends, which was probably the worst pay-per-view of the year by 1,100 miles. So we're going from bad to worse, you guys.
The WWE putting out a good pay-per-view event in a while?
Hey, it's like I thought Money in the Bank was kind of fun and stuff. Like this pay-per-view, it's like a murder's row of just worst to worst to worst.
Oh
matches.
no!
It's like astronomically bad.
Also, my comment I was gonna say was some motherfuckers always trying to skate uphill.
That is a line we wish we had in this movie. Also joining us is Ryan Fretz.
It's hello.
Yeah. If I didn't say, I'm Lou Gonzalez. So we're going to quickly go over what we didn't on the last episode of comics, like the Captain Britain MI13. So we finished issue 11, issue 12. Most of this stuff kind of like rushes through in this comic, but it's awesome to talk about.
By the way, last time on Captain Britain MI13, he's in space on the moon, and he's got a vampire army.
Yeah, Dracula's on the moon with a vampire army. So we open up with Spitfire talking to her son in the worst costume I've ever seen. And he's like, oh, you need to do this stuff. Then we have Blade and Black Knight and Pete Wisdom. They're killing vampires that were inside of MI13. They have a little meeting. And basically they're like, we don't know what the hell, like, what's going on. Well, we got to figure this out. They know Fazia's dad is kidnapped. We cut back to Spitfire, and in order to prove her loyalty, she is forced to basically a scene kind of ripped out of the Blade 1 movie, where they have all the humans like hung up on the ceiling being kept alive as like blood bags.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think the first Blade movie did way better because they actually put them in giant like medical bags. I can't remember what they're called, like IV bags, and they looked awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I necessarily also don't want to say that that's like an invention invented by the first.
No, it's not invented by that, but like it's very reminiscent, especially like with vampires. It's a cool idea.
It's a great idea.
This is where Blade says his buddy who took down Dracula before did something with his skull, and then that's important MacGuffin. That's Chekhov's head in this comic. Then we are introduced to Dracula's Inner Circle, which is the vampire Lilith, who is an Atlantean turned vampire and looks real goddamn weird. And the Captain Fate, who's like a cartoonish pirate. And they all have
he's like an old buccaneer.
Yeah, and they have a little scuffle, and this is where they reveal not only are they vampires on the moon, they're vampires on the moon with a space pirate ship.
Like at this point, if you're reading this book for the first time and you're just like, is this not the reddest
Connor, you missed a lot
read?
last week.
Seriously, this book is so
clearly.
rad.
Yeah, I'm posting a picture in the chat here on the Discord chat of this space pirate ship.
Paul Cornell just like writes the shit out of this book. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. And basically, this is Spitfires. Basically, we're learning that Dracula, part of his ability is that he can mind control other vampires, but like not fully at first. The longer you're with him, the more he kind of takes over.
That's like kind of a thing in vampire lore
Yes.
also. It's like that. It's like if you bite the person, like they become like kind of like a subject to you, and so it's like, you know, it's like a mafia kind of thing, but like vampirism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we cut to like the plane they're on, and Captain Britain's trying to have a conversation, and Blade's like, "Yeah, if I find her, I'll kill her. I'll kill everything in the way if she's not with us." And Captain Britain's like, "Oh, you really are British." And then we see Spitfire's trying to use her thing, and her son's like, "Oh, you can't because he told you not to. Why don't you just destroy it?" "Oh, but like I can't because obviously he wants me to use it at some point." And then we get back to our Chekhov's head. Psychic woman wakes up. She meets our team. They have like tea. They have a skull she pulls out of a drawer.
That has like all these like basically like magic runes etched into it.
Yeah. And then all this goofy stuff with Spitfire and her son. They're explaining that like the skull means that like no vampires can come into England unless they're invited, including Dracula himself. The house gets attacked by vampires.
See, I know we're talking about different Dracula, but I keep thinking of the Billy and Mandy Dracula every time his name gets mentioned. I don't know why. I just wanted to add that.
Well, he's
Dracula was in Billy and Mandy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a Blackula.
Blackula?
Yeah, he was a Blackula.
See, I always think of
Raven
like,
Lick?
what's the Jefferson?
Jefferson
Twilight.
Yeah,
Jefferson
that's
Twilight.
He's awesome from Venture Bros. I do like in this, so the vampires attack and they're like fully like in mummy wraps and stuff to protect them from the sun. Everybody's fighting them.
Like, what a cool... Okay, like, this book is just, like, full of, like, cool ideas, and it's like, what a cool idea. Like,
Yeah,
having them, like, wrapped up, so, like, it's like...
Yeah, it's something they, like, played with in the first Blade movie. I'm only bringing this up, and then I was just watching Blade 2, and they kind of did a thing in Blade 2, in the, like, second or third opening, no, the third action sequence, third or fourth, with this. But they were, like, in ninja neoprene costumes.
Well, and like in the first movie, it's like Frost is like, oh yeah, like I'm wearing sunscreen,
right? Yeah, that's goofy.
Yeah.
I know it works for that film. But during this, Lilith is firing like her magic through like a space laser to hit Captain Britain, and then Dracula uses magic to squish the skull, and that's the end of this issue. So now the vampires can get into England.
Which is like also like kind of a callback to like the first issue where it was just like, you know, or like the first arc where it's like there's this magical arc that basically protects Avalon and England in a certain way, and then the barrier is broken. So here's just like another magical artifact that's meant to keep Britain safe.
So our next issue opens, the vampires retreat. They're like, oh shit, the skull. We see Dracula's people loading coffins onto the space pirate ship. And they're like, what happened? Our team is like, what happened? And basically like, oh, they were hiding in the bushes. So when she said, please come in, that counted as an invite to them too. Then Union Jack comes in and he's all like pissy and shit. And him and Blade go at it.
Because Union Jack sucks.
Yes. Which is part of Dracula's plan. And then Dracula in his space pirate ship fires kamikaze vampire torpedoes.
Yep.
At England. And this is where like a whole bunch of shit is fucked up. We see like everything all jacked up in the other British like MI6 and all that stuff. We get our obligatory Norman Osborn showing up being like, yeah, I can't help you guys. And Scarlet Witch shows up and is like, we literally cannot get into England. And we get to see the horrible costume that Hank Pym was wearing at this time when he was the Wasp.
This is the Mighty Avengers team.
Yeah. So we have all this stuff. Spitfire's getting along with her son. Captain Britain's being kept out of England. One of these vampire missiles blows, comes down, and it is Spitfire, and she's attacking everybody. Everyone's going crazy, and then Fazia takes Excalibur and goes to fight them, and goes to kill her, but gets her throat slashed by Spitfire. And basically everybody dies except for Blade, and he kind of does a walk-off, and Dracula's in a church, and they're like, oh, you won, which is an awesome...
This isn't a church, it's Parliament.
Parliament, yeah, you're right. I just saw pews and assumed church.
It's like, Dracula just killed everyone in Parliament. Like, this book is, again, rad. So rad.
Yeah, so issue 14 opens, and Dracula's like, I won, but this is too easy. He's like, this is bullshit, and like uses his sword and cuts, and he's basically like, how long have I been in my cabin? They're like, I don't know, 2 days. Like, you told us not to disturb you. So I was like, wait, so we're nearly at Earth? And like, yeah, you, and the order to send the scouts ahead. Like, you never gave an order. It's like, god damn it. And he's like, oh, wisdom, you pulled a fast one on me, but it's too late. And there's the reveal, which is kind of why we covered the first one. A big part of it is because the bad guy from the first arc they made a deal with, and that's who the second arc. the Dream Corridor used his powers on Dracula, so it bought them 2 days, and they were able to see everything he saw, so they know his entire plan. So then Dracula has to adjust, and so do they. And so all this shit's going on, and Dracula goes after Spitfire, and this is where we see this giant guy. That's one of the guys in the thing, which I can't remember. He was one of the guards for Fazia's dad. I can't remember his like superhero name or whatever.
Kill Power?
Yeah, something goofy like that.
A very 90s superhero name.
So we have Captain Britain's flying up. He's going to hit the ship. And this is where Spitfire reveals that she's never been under his control. And Excalibur teleports in. The guy we were talking about wakes up. And he's like, yeah, I've never been mind controlled as part of my powers. Here's a portal. Go through the portal. And this is like an interesting thing they have Fazia's dad do, which is he's like, no, but my daughter's here. I'm going to be here. So we have this giant all-out brawl. Pirate guy faces off with Black Knight. Captain Britain and Lilith face off. And Black Knight beats the shit out of the pirate. And basically what this does, without him, they can't control the space pirate ship. So all of our good guys leave. Lilith, Spitfire's son, and Dracula are the only main guys left alive. Spitfire goes back with our team. And she's basically like, I had to do some really fucked up shit, but like I had to do it to stay undercover.
Which is like also just like so like kind of like fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah, and she says she hasn't had to do that since Norway 1940, 20th of June 1940. So like you could tell like this stuff is like stays with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fozzie gets the news that her dad didn't come along, and he's like, wait, how am I not able to control like the dad? And he's all like, what the fuck is going on? And then this is where Doom comes in. He's like, "Oh, I sent you a present. By
the way, Connor, before like the first issue of this arc, Dr. Doom and Dracula have a conversation on the moon, and Dr. Doom basically tells off Dracula for being a dumb racist.
A racist. Yeah.
I love it. I love Doom.
I love the sentence. Dr. Doom and Dracula have a conversation on the moon. That sounds like something my
next one is
7-year-old self would make up.
Yeah, and then Dracula's like, "What the fuck did he do? Like, Doom doesn't do shit for good unless it happens to." And they're like, "What happened?" They open a door, and it's Megan, Captain Britain's wife, and they're just like, "Oh fuck!" And Brian's like, "Oh shit, I can sense her," and that's where we end this issue. I think 15 is the final issue, which is sad because this was such a good book. But I love how this plays out, where Pete Wisdom's talking to the girl from several issues before, whose friend died when the pub got blown up. And he's like, okay, I'm coming clean with you. Megan's talking to Dracula, and they're like, what the hell do we do? And like, Dracula goes to hit Megan, and Captain Britain like fucking busts through the door, and basically Vegeta like, get off my Bulma, and fucking wrecks Dracula. And then Lilith comes in, so like they have their battle. And then basically this is kind of an Ocean's 11 issue, which I love this idea. And so Pete Wisdom is basically just giving us like, oh, remember that skull? Yeah, that was bullshit. Like I called her ahead of time and she made a fake skull. So the real skull never got destroyed. So they're all like doing this distraction. And all this shit's going on. And basically like all the vampires they sent ahead are just getting burnt up. And he's like, yeah, because we didn't invite them. And they said, we don't invite any vampires except for Fazia's father. So they're all getting wrecked. The ship is blowing up, and the only one that can hold anything together is Lilith. So like they're all just kind of popping like popcorn. Lilith teleports them back to their moon base. But Megan and Captain Britain are there beating the shit out of Lilith. And then we get like basically Avengers Endgame level of other superheroes popping in out of nowhere. So it's Dark Angel, Digitex, Tangerine, and Death's Head, which are all characters I've never heard of. I think I've heard of Death's Head.
Death's Head is a character that originally showed up in Transformers. He's like a Transformers character, and he's like a big Marvel UK character. I assume also Dark Angel, Digitech, and Tangerine are also like Marvel UK characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they show up and help, and then we have Blade and Union Jack are in the castle, they're literally like spraying. I love this thing when they pop in through the portal and it's like all the vampires rush them. It's like, okay, you can stop pushing the holy water mist through the gate. I was like, oh, that reminds me of what do you call it? The Keanu Reeves Constantine movie when they put the cross in the fire sprinkler system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Man, that movie's good.
That movie is good. It's just not a good Constantine movie. It's a good.
So I've never seen that Constantine movie, but I know I have it. I found it at like a used DVD sale for like $1. So
it's real fun.
Yeah,
I bet. But the thing is, it's gonna be hard for me to like watch it and not think
it's a completely different character. Like,
I mean, it would be a good movie if it wasn't a Constantine. If it wasn't a Constantine movie, if it was anything else, it would be a really good movie.
Yeah,
but
it's
okay. So it would be like if it wasn't having the name Constantine attached, you could just enjoy it for what it was.
Yeah, it's actually kind of fits into the Blade movies and Hellboy, where it's like it's a good. It's not even an action. It's like a good like horror thriller kind of movie.
I'm literally looking at the DVD right now. I have in my hands.
That movie also. Yeah, the movie also has Tilda Swinton, and it's like
she's amazing in it.
She's like okay, so like Tilda Swinton in Constantine basically taught me about androgyny because I was
because she's playing the angel Gabriel, I believe.
Yeah, and I was like, this is like such a beautiful character, but like also like this is me at like I would have been in high school at this time. But she looks like kind of like a guy.
She's
so
very David Bowie-esque in that movie.
And
it's like I was, because we're the same age, I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be attracted to her, but I am. Yeah. And I think it was like a long time later for the next thing I saw her in, which was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And I'm like, oh, she's beautiful, which makes her so much better in that movie.
So Lou, are you attracted to long-haired Tilda Swinton, short-haired Tilda Swinton, or completely bald Tilda Swinton?
Yes.
I'm not. I don't like bald Tilda Swinton. Oh, because it's a bald cap.
All of them.
All of the above.
or D, all of the above.
D, all of the above. Yes.
So in the book,
I like that. But yeah, I like how Union Jack has a giant spray bottle of holy water.
Yeah. But this might be my favorite scene in this book. So, like, Spitfire's son comes up to them and he's like, Joe, it's me, Ken. I'm so sorry. Now that, like, everything, the mind control is broken, it's like, and Union Jack's like, it's all right. You could come with us. It's what Jack would want. Even if there is no cure now, maybe there's one that, and then Blade just fucking impales him. And he's just like, no, Blade, he's their son. And then he goes on his rescue and he's like, it's Spitfire. It's done. Exactly like you asked. And then Union Jack's like, oh, I guess I was wrong about you and Jack. You're fucking made for each other. He says bloody, but like, and I like Spitfire kind of being sad, but it makes her character work.
I mean, like, also, like, her son was, like, kind of, like, a big piece of shit, so, you know.
And he was, like, an old supervillain, too, I think. So, Megan and Captain Britain are beating the shit out of Lilith. Dracula's like, oh, shit, my shit's fucked. I guess I'm just gonna die. He's like, oh, wait, no, I have a plane. And he goes there, and Black Knight and Fazia have jacked it up. And he attacks Black Knight, and then he's like, oh, I know you have Excalibur, but you're just, like, some little girl, like, what are you gonna do? Like, you heathen, throwing his racist shit. Let me pass, I'll let you live. And he's like, after what you did to my dad, to my country, how dare you say that? Like, this is Excalibur, I'm worthy. And he's just like, goes to attack her, and Fazia fucking stabs him through the heart with Excalibur.
And, like, the fact that Fazia is the one to, like, kill Dracula, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Such a great moment.
Yeah, and Black Knight's, like, fucking destroy. Like, he is a bloody mess on the ground. It's like, that was the moment that we talked about earlier. Isn't it awesome? Like, you kind of knew, and she's like, oh, let me use my healing powers. Because she's also, like, their white mage on the team. And then she's like, oh, your heart's not stone, so, like, you can feel feelings. He's like, oh, cool, let's make out. Which is actually really well earned in this book.
Yeah.
And so Captain Britain kills Lilith, so then all the magic gets turned off from the other vampires, so the solar radiation kills them all. Captain Britain kisses his wife. Fazia's dad's like, I'm gonna die on, like, impacting Earth, and everyone's like, no, like, you're British, so like, I think your life is now going to be just like a little, it's going to be even more British because it's compromised.
Well,
And then
and his whole thing is just like, I don't want my wife and my daughter to see me, like, and see like what I've become. And he's like, it's like, hey, you're right.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So we have Blade comforting Spitfire, and it's like things, and Pete Wisdom talking to the girl who looks like she's running away. Black Knight and Fazia like kind of going away, and then like Fazia's dad's like, I could really murder a cup of tea. And then it's like this whole thing of like, oh, you've been watching this, and
you've been watching Pete Wisdom, Eric Brooks, and Jack Falsworth, Fazia Hussein, and Dane Whitman, Alistair Stewart, and Zero. And he's like, oh, and goodbye. And he's like, and Megan and Brian Braddock, the end. It's like, what a fucking great book. And like the fact that like Pete Woods is not Pete Woods, Paul Cornell is like not doing comics now, like, is such a crime. Like, I know that like he's done like, since then, he went on to do Blackest, like post Blackest Night, adventure, not adventure, action comics with Lex Luthor, with his robot Lois Lane, and that book is so good. And then he did Saucer Country for Vertigo, and he has like, I feel like he also did like one other book for Oni Press, but like he's mainly gone back to doing like Doctor Who radio dramas and TV work. And I think he's like one of those guys, along with Joshua Hill Fyakov, who around this time was also just doing so many great books, have like kind of expressed like, the comics industry just did not treat them well at all. And it's just such a crime. Like, I would have like sacrificed, the majority of the current Marvel books if I could just get like more books from Paul Cornell. Because this guy just like had a knack for it. And like,
and he does so many cool things with this team, and like half these characters basically nothing happens. Like Fazia just, I feel like she's in like one other thing, and then no one's touched her again.
Fazia Hussein, after this book, does not show up until like, I think it's like an Infinity tie-in, which would have been like years later.
Oh, like almost a decade.
Yeah. And like Fazia Hussein, like, I like literally should be like one of like if I was like running Marvel like television and films, and I was looking at like how like to reintroduce like a character like Captain Britain or like Excalibur or like all this other stuff, like Fazia would be at the top of my list. Like there's like, she has like so much upgain like as a character, like her, and like basically you just basically do who she is in this book, like in a film, it'd be perfect.
Yeah. Well, I think we talked about it last time, which is a good segue.
A globe approach and dress in something culturally insensitive.
Is like this would be a good entry point for like post Blade movie to do with like some of these more worldly characters, especially with like if we're getting a Blade movie.
Would you see Blade, the Marvel Blade, the one with Mahershala Ali? Could you see them possibly introducing, like in a post-credits or mid-credits, some kind of Captain Britain sort of thing, or no?
I mean, like this book isn't popular enough for it to happen, but like it really should. I think the idea, like,
stranger things have happened though. Like you've got a whole like franchise now based off a talking raccoon and a tree that says 3 words.
I could see them not like Captain Britain, but like maybe Pete Wisdom, like being like.
Pete Wisdom.
Like Pete Wisdom would be the character, and then we know Black Knight's already been cast. So,
and I mean, like, and it's like you already have like the liner notes for what Pete Wisdom is. Pete Wisdom is the British Nick Fury. There you go.
Yeah, and we have Kit Harington as cast. So, I'm going to start. We are also watching Blade Trinity, which is why we covered this book. So, I am going to hit play. Are you guys all set up?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I'm currently joining the stream.
All right, so I am hitting play in 3, 2, 1. All right, is everybody here still?
Yep.
All right, so New Line Cinema Picture. So we were talking about, me and John Scott were talking about, so like this movie is basically the last Wesley Snipes as
leading man movie.
And
Isn't
I would
this
say
his last movie before he went to jail?
no, he had one other movie, and then two other ones came out while he was in jail. So if you didn't know, Wesley Snipes went to jail for tax evasion.
Yeah.
That's not a rich person's crime. Yeah.
Well, basically, he had one of those money
it's,
people tell him.
Ryan Reynolds' warm up for Deadpool.
Well, as you say that, Ryan Reynolds learned about the character of Deadpool from doing this movie. The director came to him with a Deadpool comic and was like, "I want you to play it as this character because this character is a comic book character."
Yes.
So we're entering the Syrian desert. I would say so. Our first two Blade movies kind of carry the same through line into this, where vampires are trying to do something to evolve themselves to counteract Blade. So in the first one, they're summoning a god. In the second one, they're messing with genetics. And this one, they go to the past.
Okay, yeah, this is before, or this is after Van Wilder, which is just
I
like
love
right
it.
now.
Fuck you, son.
Fuck you,
Yeah.
son.
So we have we don't know that they are yet, but we have a bunch of obviously vampires in
Why does this pyramid set look like Alien versus Predator, like the leftover?
Oh, I was gonna say it looks like shitty Stargate.
Oh man,
But-
Star-Lord, you guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a shitty Star-Lord mask.
Yeah. Oh, did you just see him at your pay-per-view tonight?
Wait, what?
Because you know who that is, right?
Oh, I forgot he's in this movie.
Yeah, Triple H was not on Backlash.
Oh, okay. So I do have to say, like, compared to the second movie, which has like a crazy cast of like amazing character actors, this one does have good character actors, but it leans on its heavies who are not good, like specifically Triple H.
I remember not liking Blade 2, but I remember people loved Blade 2.
I was just watching it
think
before.
Blade 2 is amazing. Also, Parker Posey is like one of the best actors in this movie. I'm just saying.
Oh, I think she's the best. You know what I did not realize was in Blade 2? Donnie Yen.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Donnie
he's
Yen's
in the
one of the
Blood
Blood Pack.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's the Asian guy with the swords.
Oh, that's kind of dope. Is that? Oh, there he is.
He looks
He looks
so
like
bad.
Saber
Yeah, but where's his Pomeranian vampire dog?
We're
Oh
not
my
there
god.
yet. We're not there yet.
But yeah, Donnie Yen is in it. So we have Parker.
Man, those first two Blades are so good.
Nah.
So
And then you
like
had David Goyer come in.
I forgot, is Dracula in this movie? Is he the big bad?
Yes. Played by Heatwave from Legends of Tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, there are two CW people in this movie. Yeah, so this is directed and written by the guy who did all of the DCEU stuff, right? Goyer was like the big writer and behind
Yeah.
all of that shit.
He also made Krypton.
And also several very bad takes online.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what I just remembered too? Do you know what happens in all three Blade movies?
Wesley Snipes shows up.
No, Chris Christopherson dies in all three of them.
God, that's right.
He dies at the end of the first one. I don't know. He gets resurrected and sort of dies in the beginning of the second one.
Is that John Michael Higgins?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, he takes over from in the second movie. The guy that played Rasputin plays a similar character.
Oh, okay. Because I just watched Community and I saw him in it, and I was like, shit.
This is like got to be real pretty early on in his career. Because yeah,
No.
this movie is what's this? 04.
Hang on 1 second. No, I thought he was in a couple of Christopher Guest movies by this point.
He probably did Best in Show at this point, like right before this.
And Mighty Wind.
Okay. But like, yeah. So the big thing is from So the first Blade movie is basically like an indie movie. And it's
it was the first superhero movie after the whole bottom collapsed.
Yeah, after the Batman movies and Batman and Robin. And was it Amun-Ra is Snipes' company?
Yes.
I forgot.
Man, if I was oh, never mind. I thought that was someone else for a second.
Oh no! Like what? The Candyman?
No, I thought it was Oliver Queen's stepdad from Arrow.
Oh, that guy. He's from Resident Evil.
Yeah, that guy. I thought it was him for a second.
He's poor man's Candyman. So the second Blade movie is the one that gets the big budget. We get a way bigger cast. They bring in Guillermo del Toro, where I believe that's the movie. So he meets Ron Perlman, and like I said, the other big character actor is the guy who ends up playing Rasputin in it. And so that movie's much more visual. I would say the hand-to-hand fighting in the second movie is better than the first movie.
Yes,
it's so
100%,
good.
100%.
The CGI, it doesn't hold up, and then all the cool effects are great. So I already say the problem in this movie compared to the second, the first movie, there are 3 action set pieces in the first 10 minutes.
There he is.
There's the man.
That classic New Line Cinema intro is like on every movie.
Feeling that a lot of this movie is going to be like, oh, this is what Bloodshot should have been. Like, even though this movie is terrible,
it's better than Bloodshot.
How old is Snipes at this point?
Let me think.
So he's born in 62 and this was 04. So
he's 57 right now.
I think he's 42 in this.
Okay.
He looks phenomenal.
Oh,
when
looks
it's
great.
Actually him. So anytime you don't see his face, it is not him.
Well, anytime you don't see his face, it's because he was in his trailer refusing to come out.
Refusing to come out doing all the coke from Colombia that exists.
Good. Somebody has to do it all.
I like that weapon.
Lou, is it possible to turn this down a little bit? I can barely hear you guys.
You can turn it down in your own stream.
Okay, perfect.
If you click on it, there's like a volume thing on the bottom.
Here we go.
And Chris Christopherson is 112 in this movie. And still looks good.
Chris Christopherson probably gave Wesley Snipes the coke. I'm just saying.
I feel like it's Chris Christopherson. He's dead, right?
I think so. No, he's still kicking.
Holy shit.
He is 83 years old.
I feel like
a movie last year.
Oh man, I just lost the actor's name. Who's the guy that plays the dad in the bad Hulk, the Ang Lee Hulk movie?
Oh, Nick Nolte.
I feel like he's like your poor man's Nick Nolte, but I think he works in these movies. Also, I have to say, Blade in a car, not as fun as Blade on a motorcycle.
Yeah, Blade in a car just seems boring.
Yeah. All right, that was definitely a stunt double there. So, yeah, to go. So there are lots of discussions from the actors in this movie about how shitty Wesley Snipes was.
I was going to wait until Patton Oswalt showed up to discuss that.
Yeah.
But we can discuss it now.
But yeah, like we said, I think he's like about to go to court during like the filming of this movie. So he gets indicted in 06. So it's like just after this. But I'm guessing the heat's pretty much on. But yeah, before this, between Blade 2 and 3, he pretty much does dog shit, like, in those 2 years. Like, he does movies I've never heard of except for Undisputed, which was a bomb. But was a low-budget movie.
His best movie, I would say, would probably be Demolition Man with Stallone.
Oh no,
Ooh.
Passenger 57 or New Jack City.
Oh, I forgot about New
I gotta
Jack.
think about that. What his best movie would be.
Yeah, his like older stuff is like so good. Oh,
New
like
Jack City's up there.
Mo
Demolition
Better
Man is definitely
Blues.
up there for me.
Do we all forget he's in the first Major League?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they
I also
replaced.
want to kind of see what is it? Murder at 1600.
Oh, that's the sequel to The Fugitive.
No, that's U.S. Marshals.
Oh, is that U.S. Really?
Yeah, Murder at 1600, where he's a detective who has to figure out.
I've seen both of them. I was a big Snipes person. I love Snipes because he was kind of like the 90s. He started off in the 80s, but he was like kind of the only not white action star.
Also, I like his hair in this movie, in all three of these movies, really.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me. I forgot about this. This is the awesome turn. This is like, what the fuck? So the vampire set him up, and he killed a human dressed like a vampire with fake teeth in.
Nice. And a photographer.
And Parker Posey is filming it. I actually love her in this, and makes me think like, oh man, we really missed out. Like, I think she would have played a good death in from the Sandman verse. Like looking at her in this, because she's like super emo hot in this, and it's funny. She again, is she in the two worst comic book movies of all time? She's in this and Superman Returns.
Superman Returns is not one of the worst.
All right,
Like,
here's the thing. Here's the thing about this. I will
like
watch
Superman
this over
Returns isn't
Superman
even the
Returns.
worst Superman movie.
It's
That's
boring.
well, yeah.
It's
Like
It is
I don't
duller
even
than
know.
a sack of wet cement.
It's
I don't
basically
know.
a filler comic that you would get on like a McDonald's promotion.
I think
Apparently, I found out
like
Superman Returns did not go through test screenings.
That's why.
Like, and now I know
Like,
why.
I
Because
think- I think the worst thing about Superman
Returns.
Returns. I think the worst thing about Superman Returns is that it's a sequel to a film that's at that time maybe 30 years old.
no. It's a sequel to a alternate cut of a 30-year-old film.
It's like-
The actual like the whole Superman Returns, there's an actual book of what happens like before that movie, and it's a lot
Yeah.
better than the actual movie.
Well, yeah, it's a sequel to the to what's his name's cut, the Donner cut. two.
Okay. So as someone who hasn't seen like Blade 2 in maybe like 18 years, like how did Chris Christopherson survive the end of Blade?
So you think he kills himself? It's actually the opening of Blade 2, kind of like the second opening. So what you find out is that he shot himself, but as he was dying, the vampires got to him, turned him. But since he was already dying, he like wasn't really coming back, and they kept him in a vat of blood and were using him as like a way to try to keep catching Blade, and it not working. And then he finally finds him, which is the opening.
So Chris Christopherson right now is a vampire.
No. So, hey, look, James Remart's our second CW person.
Oh, I forgot he's in this.
So, no, they basically put him in like a stasis. So he's like in the process of turning. And the only thing that's referenced from the first movie is Blade uses the antiviral thing from the first movie to see if he'll reverse the process. And he puts him in a room, and he's like, in the morning, I'm going to open the blinds, whether you are normal or not. And the one thing I do like about the three movies is they've kept fucking Triple H. That they kept the way that the vampires live the same in all three movies. Because in all three movies, they are in like the super hyper modernized apartments. Who the fuck is this blonde guy that's like with them? He looks really familiar.
Honestly,
She looks like one of my old girlfriends.
You know what he looks like to me? He
super
looks like
emo.
cannon fodder.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a red shirt, but I can't remember his name. Have they said his character's
Connor, how about
name?
those Artemis Fowl reviews?
Oh boy, I'm excited. But that's
Oh,
man, that's not.
Hey, like
Blade,
let's let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I won't. Oh, I'm waiting till we watch that garbage file. With
Oh, do you know who he is? He is.
Who?
How many people here have watched season 2 of Jessica Jones?
Me.
I have.
He's the
Unfortunately,
hippie,
I have.
he's the hippie doctor.
What?
Oh yeah.
The one who gave the experiments to
Yep.
boyfriend dude?
Yeah, he's also from Legends of Tomorrow, and I believe
So there's a third CW character in this.
I
place,
believe he was also on Smallville. Like way before this, he was in Battlestar Galactica in the first season.
Yeah, like a lot of the character actors in this show are all like Vancouver locals. So you'll
So we
see a
just
lot of
got our
Oh wow, that is Heat Wave. He's so young.
yeah, it's baby. This is like
I'm surprised that Legends of Tomorrow hasn't made fun of this yet.
oh, they did.
Did?
Yeah, they did an episode with vampires, and he's like, I got, and he's like, they're like, oh, we need your help, and he's like, hold on, and they cut to him, and he's reading Bram Stoker's Dracula. He's like, once I'm done, and he's like flipping through the pages, and then he closes it, and he's like, hate it, I hate vampires.
nice, very good.
It's like the same joke. It's kind of the same joke they made with what's his name with Titanic.
Okay.
But I feel like this is during season 1 of
Gun-toting psychopath.
why does that guy have an eye patch?
I mean, why not?
Eye patches are
Yeah.
really cool.
You know what? I want his movie. Where's
Yeah.
that spin-off movie, Marvel?
The eye patch.
So I
guys
feel like
movie?
this is the.
Yeah.
I think this was during season 1 of
Whoa, he's working with the
Prison Break.
vampires.
Oh, never mind. He's
no, I think it's the FBI.
Yeah.
I don't like the goatee.
He has the Vegeta hairline.
The hair is awesome. The hair goes through
Yeah.
all 3 movies, and I think he has the tattoos in the first one. I think they're like a little extra in this one, but I don't like the goatee as much. But I think this movie really dies. Like Chris Christopherson gives this film so much more weight because he can actually act,
Yes.
which is sad because we get introduced to people who are good actors and good character actors. They just have them do dog shit because they're acting with a stunt double.
Yeah, and instead of a man who's just making snow angels in his trailer when it's really just cocaine.
Yeah, I feel like he did all these scenes with Christopherson because he had worked with him so many times.
Skateboarding, man.
This is just the waterfront station. It's not like a subway station.
It looks like Shia LaBeouf.
Couldn't get Shia LaBeouf at this point because he was famous for doing iRobot.
Mm.
Oh wow, they just walked Kingpin. They could have eaten Kingpin.
That would have fed him for weeks.
By this point, Kingpin was black. I'm just saying. Even though there was never really a sequel to Daredevil.
Oh,
Actually, you know what? I like that he's wearing a Lost Boys shirt.
I forgot about this like introduction action sequence. I'd have to say, like, all of them so far have like they're like shittier versions of the ones from 1 and 2. Like they're way shorter, and there's way less physical fighting, and it's more like goofy weapon shit.
Yeah.
Because like I'm trying to think, like the first fight in Blade is like the club.
It's the club
blood.
scene with the blood.
Yeah, and in the second movie, his first fight is he gets the guy and he basically does like a way before the raid, like kind of raid Daredevil like hallway scene fight. And then his second one, he fights 2 fucking vampire ninjas who break into their compound and they straight up have a sword fight.
Wait, that's Jessica Biel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like our...
Wait. Jessica Biel? Seventh Heaven? Jessica Biel?
Yeah.
Is this her like breakout of that show?
I think so. She was in a couple like rom-coms by this point.
No, wasn't she in Texas Chainsaw first and then Blade?
Texas Chainsaw was the year before. Texas Chainsaw remake was the year before. I have it right here.
Yeah, she was in Texas Chainsaw. Then she's has a bit part in Cellular with Captain America.
Oh, and then she was in Stealth.
Stealth is such a bad movie.
Oh.
Cellular, the movie about a guy on a cell phone written by the same guy who wrote Payphone.
Or Phone Booth?
Phone Booth, yeah. That same guy wrote Cellular, which is Chris Evans trying to rescue Kim Basinger. She's still on Seventh Heaven at this point, and
No, well, she leaves Seventh Heaven a year before, and then she comes back for basically like the last season.
You guys heard, by the way, about what happened, like with the dad to Seventh Heaven, right?
I was gonna say, working with a confirmed pedophile.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm looking, I'm like, oh yeah, she also did Next, which is the movie where she's...
Who was a confirmed pedophile?
The dad from Seventh Heaven.
The dad from Seventh Heaven?
Yeah, he went to jail.
What?
This was like 2013? It's a while ago.
No, it was like 2014.
Yeah, he was going through a divorce, and his wife taped their therapy session of him talking about like having sex with like a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old.
No, it says
Wow.
It says
Oh
he
my
had
God, what I've
inappropriate
learned
sexual
watching
conduct with
Trinity.
3 female minors in 73,
Wow.
82, and 94. And he said his conduct was motivated by arrogance and youth, not pedophilia. Okay, there.
Okay, can we take a pause and talk about the one? I don't like that the vampires can scream as they're ashing, which I
Didn't
loved
happen.
how the first Blade, the first and second Blade that didn't happen, but I love the way that they die. That not bow and arrow light bow thing looks so bad. Oh, here's our exposition.
Look, man, they just had someone on a team that didn't know what happens when you get stabbed. Like, Pierre Jackson needed to be known what happens when someone gets stabbed in the back.
Listen, I just want Jessica Biel to say, instead of going to the 7th heaven, you're going to the 7th circle of hell.
I feel like these shots of Wesley Snipes are in this movie because they're like one of the few times they got him on camera.
I'm looking at Stephen Collins' Wikipedia. Do you know his last film role was, or for television? Was Avengers Assemble, the voice of Howard Stark?
Oh my god, the cartoon.
Yeah.
Oh
man. That's
I just remembered. He's also like, isn't he a major character in like is it the first Star Trek movie or the third?
Yeah, it's the first one.
Yeah, he's the guy that merges with like V'ger, isn't he?
He was supposed to be Spock's replacement, I think. Until Kirk was like, no. Kirk kind of blew Siler's mind today by having him discover that the guy from Seventh Heaven's a pedophile.
I mean, like, hey, I should also be super surprised about like a very Christian TV show where the lead ends up being a complete shithead.
Like Bill Cosby?
Well, I mean, like, I don't think the Cosby Show was very Christian, but yeah, sure.
The Cosby Show's very conservative. It's a black family. The parents are both doctors. No, he's a doctor and she's a lawyer.
Yes, that is how you protect your workstation, by blowing it the fuck up.
Yeah. Also, like, he's just murdering like normal. Like, these FBI agents, they're just FBI agents, and
I don't know. They're acting kind of like what they would in real life.
Yeah. Also, okay. Well, they're shooting the old white man, not the black guy.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
But also, why would you use a computer program to start a self-destruct sequence and not like just like a button?
That feels like a '90s
'Cause it's
move
not
when
tech
hackers
enough.
was cool.
It's not tech enough.
You say that, and like I said, I was just watching Blade 2. One of the things I liked about it is that all their tech gear is very. Oh god, that was some terrible CGI blood.
Yeah,
It's very analog because it's what's his name from Walking Dead in the second one is like
Norman
the other.
Reedus?
Yeah, and
Good old
they're like
Sam Bridges himself.
yeah, all their computer stuff is like on CCTV like screens. Oh my god! So like my screen kind of like froze for a second.
Yeah.
and that blade was that was not Wesley Snipes.
That was I saw that too. I was like, that's not Wesley Snipes. Wait a
That's the
minute.
stunt double.
That's when
Don't
Wesley
worry.
Snipes was making cocaine men in his trailer. Cocaine snowmen.
Don't worry, Chris Eccleston will be right. He'll be fine for the next movie.
Blade 4 win.
Oh,
Blade
Yeah!
mad. Blade
that was-
smash.
that was so bad of a yell.
Look at that generic like skyline in the background.
It's also like he has a
I
sword.
love Wesley Snipes, but I'm really excited for Mahershala in this
Yeah.
reboot. Yeah.
Yeah, but like Mahershala's a perfect actor to take this role because one, it is a fun fucking role for like an actor to play. Is like because if you watch those first two movies, like Blade is a fun character.
Yeah.
Like he's the baddest motherfucker in the room at all times. He is super powered, but fucking just has this like cool coat. Like he's very samurai-esque, which is why I think like all the Asian imagery with him works well.
Well, I mean, like Blade's also like a product of the era of like blaxploitation.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like the 70s characters, yeah. Because he was a bad guy initially, wasn't he? Was he in Spider-Man first?
Which one?
Blade. Was he a Spider-Man character like Punisher was?
I don't think so.
He was another one of those characters that
He
was in
was
someone
first,
else's book.
he was first introduced into Tomb of Dracula.
Okay.
He was Jefferson Twilight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be really curious to see what Mahershala does with the character. Apparently, he like went into Feige's office, like going.
Oh yeah, and they're like, oh, the guy that's
making
won-
the rounds. He's like, I want Blade. I want to do Blade.
Yeah, which is like it makes sense if you're that guy. He was what when these movies came out? Like 20? Like
Yeah, had to have been.
I do like these jokes, but I'm like, oh, these are some pretty bad racist jokes from this black and white cop. Also, James Remar kind of has never aged. He was like 30. He was like 35 years old in Warriors, and and then he was like, then he basically turned like 50, and then has been 50 since like Fast and Furious 2.
Oh my God, he wasn't Too Fast, Too Furious, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's like the FBI agent, and now he's Gambi in Black Lightning, which I did not realize until this season is a comic book character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the dude that makes the costumes for all the what do you call it? All of Flash's rogues in the comics, because he's big in the. I think he's like he gets killed in Final Crisis, and like that's when the rogues go off.
I really love the idea of non-powered characters, like how, like basically doing like basic menial jobs, like for superheroes, like because like Gwenpool also has like someone who like makes her costume for her.
Yeah, it's like having the Tinker around.
Yeah, like I think that's like such a cool idea.
Well, it's the interesting idea.
And
you guys hear
especially
that?
rogues, where the rogues are all like basically career criminals with like you know they're not super villains. They basically are like regular guys who end up having like some kind of super tech of some kind,
Wait,
and then
wait,
you
did
have like
anyone,
someone make costumes for them.
did anyone hear that political commentary we just missed?
No.
Where he's just like, "What about the president?" And he just goes, "An asshole." There's that George W. commentary from 2004.
At least he didn't do a whole Kanye thing.
Well, this is way before Kanye.
This is when Kanye was making good music.
Still being sane.
Okay. I just realized what he's doing. He's trying to be the character from the Terminator movies. That psychiatrist.
Yes, pretty much.
That's the character he's trying to play. And I want to say, like, I like the way Wesley Snipes looks here. I don't think it's the makeup. I think this is just him being hungover from fucking partying all night.
Hungover from cocaine coming down.
Yeah, he looks like, if you look at his eyes, like, he looks like shit.
He's like, "Where am I?
Am I acting right now?
Am I acting or am I seeing things? Where am I?"
Although every time I'm watching this, just reminds me of one of my favorite comedians, Patrice O'Neill, had like a bit about when Wesley went to jail. They're like, "Oh shit, it's Blade." It's like, "Oh man, I fucking love you." And those movies like, "I don't get it. You a vampire? Or you like this?" And he's like, goes to the barber. It's like, "So do you want the Blade or do you want the Simon Phoenix?"
Yeah. Mommy?
See,
Because he's a vampire too, right?
well, he's a
familiar.
He's a special.
Familiar.
Yeah, he's a familiar. I thought you were talking about Blade for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, Blade's a vampire, right?
Well, he's a kind of a vampire. They get into it in the second one, but they actually really get into it in this one.
He's able to like walk both worlds.
Yeah, he.
Noise everywhere.
Don't fuck with my thing.
Yeah, basically, he has all their strengths and none of their weaknesses, except he has the thirst, which he gets rid of through a serum that's not blood.
I think it's just like plasma and something else, but not like actual blood.
Yeah. Like, I like the idea, but I wish they would actually go like a little better into it. It's like one of the things that the first one does better.
Wait, did you see that face he just gave?
He's like, face.
Yeah, that I feel
to
like
be
that's
fair,
like,
if I got stuck with a needle, I'd probably make that face too.
I mean, to be fair, I also feel like that's the needle they use to like make him sober.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like you can
It's
see
his
the bags
adrenaline.
under his eyes in this. This is like a goofy. They're doing the slow motion voice thing from
Literally
Old School.
every movie.
I don't know. I just think of Old School when Will Ferrell shoots himself with the dart.
Oh yeah.
But I actually like the casting of him as this like really dickish like psychotherapist. And did the cops not? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, did the cop not notice he showed him his tattoo? It's like, oh no, the DA or whatever is also familiar. I do have to say, like, I do like all the set design, but I feel like,
think we're watching a documentary.
yeah, it's him detoxing for real.
Yeah.
But like, I do like want to say, like, I like the very like minimalist set design in all of these. Oh my. Triple H looks
You can't
fucking
put him in
preposterous.
regular clothes. He's just too big.
But he's like big in like goofy wrestler way with his like hairline.
Also,
no
he didn't
neck.
have the beard by this point.
He looks.
Yeah,
He is a man, and I say this as a man who's like, I look just like him, where I look stupid without facial hair. He looks dumb without facial hair.
Did you just like, not to get the person, did you just shave recently, or was that your haircut you just had?
Oh, I did both. I shaved off my beard, and I shaved off like my hair was like at my shoulders, and I had a giant homeless man beard, and I shaved it all off.
Yeah, COVID.
Yeah. I also don't like Blade doing these vampire things.
Man.
I do like the Parker Posey kind of doing some sort of like little androgynous stuff here too. Like to go back to like the Constantine stuff.
If you notice something about these vampires, they tip their fangs with silver so they can kill other vampires.
Oh, I never noticed that, really.
What
Yeah,
happens
if
they
you
eat,
watch
something a
like
little
Triple
too
H,
sharp?
you'll see his fangs.
Aren't they
This
worried about
should
like
be
biting
cool, but
their
it's
own
like
lips or something?
not.
What if they bite their tongue? Do they immediately
There he
match
is.
themselves?
There.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It looks fucking dumb. Oh, yeah, what's his name? Something King?
Hannibal.
Hannibal King.
What's that thing you just popped his mouth? That's supposed to give him drug powers?
No, instead of doing the injection, it's now an inhaler. They talked about it in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
That's his serum.
I think it's Wesley Snipes getting magical drug powers.
It's cocaine.
Yes.
And you see his boner.
It's like spinach
Yeah.
for Popeye.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Wesley Snipes becomes like Popeye when he gets cocaine in his system.
Grabs his ponytail.
How much money do you think they paid Triple H to just let Blade beat him up?
None, because this is the only movie he's ever done.
No, he has other movies. He's like some
It's not
Nickelodeon crap
wrestling
that he has.
specific.
I feel like the WWE gave them money. Also, his like undercoat is way too thick. I don't know why it bothers me. Like,
I just love the people like he was able to get in there so calmly and just like give me my shit.
Yeah, they're all distracted.
I also just
All
realized 2 people from Christopher Guest movies are in this movie.
Yeah. So I do want to say, like, one of the disappointing parts of this movie with Wesley Snipes is like he is a martial artist, more so than many of the like late '80s, early '90s action stars. I can't remember. I think he was like a Taekwondo guy, and it's barely in this movie when it's like up front in the other movies. Because I don't know, have you guys ever heard about like how bad his money stuff was going at the time? What he was resorting to?
No, I was very young when this all went down.
So, for real, this is a true story. It has been confirmed by like multiple sources. Wesley Snipes' people were contacted Joe Rogan to set up a UFC fight with him during this time period.
What? Wesley Snipes wanted to fight Joe Rogan?
Yes,
Hell
because he
yeah.
was in such financial problems with the US government. And like
That-
there was like talk like, oh, like everybody know like this is like early on in UFC. And everyone was like, oh, like it was starting to become big. I like scared Triple H running away like a bitch.
That sounds about right.
No, because you're in the wrong movie. That's in Wanted.
Yeah. By the way, Wanted 2 probably maybe happening now? Question mark.
What?
Oh yeah. Oh god, this music is horrendous.
Well, you know who's responsible for the score of this one, right?
No.
Is Trent Reznor?
It is Ramin Djawadi and RZA.
Oh
He
god.
does a lot of stuff actually.
That
Ramin
sucks
Djawadi?
because
Yeah, no, he did Pacific Rim, Iron Man, Game of
Yeah.
Thrones.
I don't mind this personally, but I like industrial like music.
yeah, I feel like it's a little it doesn't like in the first and second movie because of the club scenes, like it's very techno. I feel like having the non-techno in like having it like kind of similar in this where they're in a police station is weird.
Yeah.
Although I do like them
Connor,
coming
going
out
back
of
really quick. They're doing a Wanted sequel with that like technology that the Timur Bekmambetov has been doing, where it's like he shoots the whole movie through like phones and everything.
That's weird.
Oh god, that was Bloodshot level CGI right there.
Yeah.
That was bad.
But I mean, to be fair, like this
This is
Bloodshot level,
2004.
yeah, exactly. This Bloodshot level of CGI was like 15 years prior.
Oh, this guy looks really familiar to me. I want to say, to go back to the fight thing. Basically, like the Wesley Snipes people had heard that Rogan, like, oh, he's a UFC commentator, and like they got to the point where there were contracts, and Rogan said he signed his.
Just look at Triple H just run after this car like a fool.
Okay, I'm confused now by what just happened. Wouldn't all of her arrows be silver tipped?
Apparently not that one.
Oh, I just remembered fucking Ryan Reynolds, or no, Jessica Biel's goofy thing that is used in Fin 4 Stick for Sue Storm.
Oh, that's
What is
right.
it?
You'll see. God damn it.
But yeah, basically, because this is all boring stuff. So basically, she's the bastard kid of Whistler that he never told anybody about because of Happenstance. Oh, look, there's a child in this vampire hunting people on a boat.
There's a bastard kid. Oh, look, a child.
Which this is where we get introduced to all our other comedic character actors. Hey, Patton Oswalt.
I love
Natasha Lyonne.
I love Patton Oswalt's stories about.
Because I mean, like
movie.
famously, also Patton Oswalt has like a big bit about working on Blade Trinity, right?
Yes, basically, he's the one that said like, "Oh, I met him like twice, and he was in his trailer the entire time doing coke, and mostly we filmed with his stunt double." Because Patton Oswalt's like a nobody here. He's in this movie because he's a comic book nerd. And I love this. It's like, oh, wait, wait, my guy who was my partner built this network of vampire hunters that he never told me about. And it's you guys. And you have a blind woman with a kid on your team.
Shoot, what is this? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny because I hadn't seen Blade 2. And, like, I've seen Blade, like, maybe, like, a year or maybe two ago. But it's, like, the Blade in this movie is, like, so wildly different from that movie. Like,
Yeah.
the Blade of Blade 1 would not have made, like, the joke.
No. In Blade 2, he's, like, sarcastic and shitty to people. But he's not this. Also, in case
actually, speaking of Wesley Snipes, he had an interview after like the whole Patton Oswalt thing came out.
Can I just time out? So Triple H came all the way back to base with an arrow in his eye and just put it back in. Sorry, John, go ahead.
So Wesley Snipes had like an interview with Vice where he opened about like Blade and working on it and what happened. Where Patton Oswalt was like, yeah, Wesley Snipes was in character for the whole shoot.
No, he asked.
And Snipes says, once again,
I really hate like all the dialogue in this movie so far. This is like very David Goyer.
But Snipes says, once again, I'll say to you, sir, look at the source of information. I didn't know Patton Oswalt was a method actor. Well, you know the difference. He also denied staying in his trailer, but he did not deny the Post-it note rumor.
Oh, what's the Post-it note rumor?
Apparently, he would just leave Post-it notes for messages for people instead of talking to them directly.
Oh, that makes sense. Because he is astronomically bigger than everyone in this movie. Like, Ryan Reynolds is coming off of what, like, two guys, a girl, and a pizza place, and Van Wilder?
Trying to see what he did, like, before this happened.
This is his, like, first, which is funny. He's had, what, 5 shots in comic book movies? And this is shot one?
Yeah, this is his first big, like, non-comedic movie. Like, he did Harold and Kumar, he did that but why thing you always see around the internet.
To finish the Rogan story, basically once Wesley Snipes people found out that Rogan was a Taekwondo champion when he was like in college, they stopped pursuing the fight. He thought he was just like a
the moment he
commentator.
thought he could get his ass kicked.
There you go, Tomb of Dracula.
Oh, Tomb of Dracula. Lol.
I actually don't mind that being in here.
Well, that's probably
Yeah, it's just an Easter egg.
Probably Goyer
It's just
more than
yeah.
That fucking helmet. Like, I hate his puffy jacket, because what I like, and it's obviously because he couldn't get in shape, in the first two movies, he is fucking shredded.
Yes. Like, when he comes out of the blood and everything, and he has that, like...
Oh, in the first one, it is fantastic.
He is ripped.
But yeah, if you haven't heard, like, basically the director of this movie, even though Hannibal King is a character, handed Ryan Reynolds Deadpool comics and was like, I want you to play him like this. And that is the first introduction for Ryan Reynolds for Deadpool. So without playing Trinity, we do not get a Deadpool movie.
Which is the one kind of really good thing that came out of this movie.
Because if you watch this, he is playing, it's the same character. Like, he's talking, he's like, way he talks, the vocabulary, the speed, the jokes.
It's proto Deadpool.
He's just turned down to like 5.
He barely turned down in this movie. What's weird is like Jessica Biel does nothing in this movie except get like cool kind of bow and arrow shots once, like 3 times, and we already saw one. Oh, here's our
Dracula origin.
lore drop of Dracula, where they go away from the. Oh, that was right down the barrel of the lens. That was weird.
Hang on.
Oh God.
That
Makeup is so
not
bad.
perfect. That makeup is not perfect.
That is worse than season 1 of Lucifer.
That was.
Why does he have, like,
Ivan Ooze looks better than this guy.
Why does he have frog eyes?
Hypnotoad?
Yeah, he has like the sideways like irises. Again, take to camera? That is weird. I think this is such a dumb take on Dracula. Like, there's been many dumb takes on him. I don't get why you go away from like the historic. I
don't know. Gerard Butler's take was pretty dumb too.
What movie did he do Dracula?
I think it was Dracula 2000 or 3000.
Dracula 3000. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that. Oh, this is such a camera. Oh my God, this is like a 1995 like shot where like he's walking slow and everyone's going fast, and then like the sunset stuff. Like, this is like bad Spike Lee shooting.
If this is the song I'm thinking of, unless it's the song that plays during the end credits, I like this song.
Well, it's probably RZA.
Yeah, this sounds like
RZA.
it's
Wu-Tang stuff, but like, I hate how they have Dominic Purcell is dressed like the giantest douche, like Hollywood douche, like in like, what is this shirt that they gave him? It's cut all the way down to like.
It's called goth. Look it up.
Yeah, listen, it's goth emo. Come on now.
Yeah. See, but I don't.
It's a specific goth store.
But like, I don't mind the concept of like Dracula doing this, going to like a Hot Topic and like watching a guy eat Count Chocula, and like being like, oh, they like, this is what's happened to my name. I think is a fun concept. This also feels like Men in Black 2 when they go visit the video store.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, this is kind of a store in Vancouver. It's called the Rock Shop. It's just, there's more Dracula in this, but it's pretty much.
Oh, yes.
Whoa, there's vibrators in a Marvel movie?
Hell yeah.
Well, this is back in the day when Marvel didn't own this. Because, yeah, this is Snipes' company.
I mean, hey, Spider-Man, like, Marvel didn't own Spider-Man, but you didn't see Spider-Man vibrators.
Yeah, but like what
PG-13
came out? What came out in 2004? Other comic book movies like
Punisher.
the Thomas Jane
Electric
one,
Mouse?
Yeah, the Thomas Jane Punisher, Hellboy,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2.
And then when was Daredevil? Was that 2005?
Oh, 3. That was 3.
03? Okay.
So those are all contemporary. Although it is weird to see like a goth guy be homophobic. Also, she's wearing a Motorhead t-shirt. That's not a goth band.
No, they should have
That's
put it
like-
I feel like this is on the way when goth is
hate-
heading out and emo is about to come
So
in.
by the way, like I feel like this is like something I feel like I need to say at this point. Like I hate like major like film vampire stuff where it's like vampires are all like feral. They all like do the. It's like I feel like it's like if you were to take like the last like 20 years of vampire films and like write down like oh like they like do the shot where they like they yell to like the heavens where they do the hiss sound like that's like the majority of like what you'd see with vampire stuff.
Oh, she has her Braille computer. It is so weird to watch her in this after watching everything that she has done in like the last like 4 or 5 years.
Especially since her last movie was American Pie.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's in American Pie. Like, what has she done since? She's like fucking
Russian
great in
Doll.
American
She
Pie.
did Russian Doll.
Oh, she's in Russian Doll and Orange is the New Black.
She is in Orange is the New Black.
She's
God
like one of
damn,
the
so
stars
they
of
didn't
Orange is the
realize
New
that.
Black. She's great in it. And she has like her like final season is fantastic. And then she's in Russian Doll.
She got nominated for an Emmy for playing the lead role of Russian Doll. She is a co-creator, executive producer, and writer of the show.
Yeah, Thursday. What a concept.
She's funny as hell, and she's a good actress. And
And
she's
still acting too. Like she was in Uncut Gems. She was in Ad Astra, Honey Boy. You get the idea though. Like
Yeah.
she's still
Unfortunately, it was a lot of movies I didn't see. Oh,
Yeah. Okay, that was weird. I don't think I ever checked that where he's like gentleman and hottie. He knows Jessica
Yeah,
Biel.
those classic early 2000s cringe lines.
So they took the bullet from Underworld? Did Underworld come out already?
I feel like it's around this time.
I would assume so.
I also feel like that gun was used in Hellboy. Although it is funny that like this came out the same year. So like this is simultaneous with Guillermo del Toro, Ron Perlman, who's also in Blade 2, and then the other guy is also in Blade 2, doing I was gonna say when that was folded up, it looked like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Disc
Yeah,
thing.
I thought Yu-Gi-Oh!
It looked like the thing you put your
That Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie came out the same year as this. Speaking of.
The first Underworld came out a year before this, by the way.
Would that thing hurt a human?
Yeah, they said that it could cut like a knife through butter.
But is it just vampires or anything?
No, I think it's anything.
Anything.
I feel like UV doesn't work like that. Also,
No,
wouldn't
it's
that
not
just
so
give
good.
everybody... What's funny is, thinking about this now, wouldn't that just give everybody who's using it cancer?
Oh, constantly giving you
Definitely.
something. Yeah.
That is a
Wow.
bad movie trope there, too. The nerd
Wow.
never gets laid. Ooh, I like his brown leather coat, though. It makes no sense. It's very Jack Reacher.
I dig it.
He looks like a 70s like pimp or something.
But I like it. He looks less ridiculous because of the goofy-ass outfit that Wesley Snipes is in. Oh, here you go, Siler. Oh, look, it's an iPod, and it's a MacBook. Ooh, MP3s, not even music.
Wow. Nope.
Now, what kind of
Hardcore and trip.
iPod do you think that
Wow.
is? Do you think that's an
That's
iPod?
like a 3. I like that they like the idea of this movie is that Blade is old and out of touch, and these two young white people are super in touch. Do you think she was listening to NSYNC being like, that's my future baby daddy?
Oh no, they say it's darkcore and trip hop, which is a lot.
So I don't even know what those are. Just
That's
words.
exactly what we're listening to. It's just like,
I feel like 90% of Ryan Reynolds' stuff is like improv, and Wesley Snipes gives him nothing back, which is actually fine for the character. Oh, so he's going to do a Batman?
Yeah.
I just noticed something that, like, as opposed to the other two Blade movies, this is weirdly a lot in very bright sets. Has Jessica Biel said more than like 10 words?
I mean, like, hey, this is like female characters in superhero films in the 2000s.
Yeah, but like Ryan Reynolds has had what, like 2 separate monologues to give us like all our info dumps?
But Ryan Reynolds is not a female character in a superhero film in the 2000s.
There is so much mascara on Ryan Reynolds.
I was just about to say that.
Look at all these jokes.
Yeah, well, I like that like the other two are in sunglasses and give him a dead stare, and then he's just like, no sunglasses, I'm in a brown coat, mascara. You're Lady Hawkeye, and you're coked out Blade.
I was just gonna say you're coked up.
Like, if you're in LA and there's anybody in a trench coat with a sword, with a woman with a quiver, wouldn't you just, in a post 9/11 world, just be calling everybody?
Yes.
Although that coat is fucking awesome, but that's probably the same coat from the first movie and second movie.
Blade's coat?
Yeah, like I love the hole for the sword. I mean, yes, that was the sound of me opening a beer.
That's good.
Also, I do think another thing to comment on is, all right, Blade and Ryan Reynolds are in like kind of flak jackets with t-shirts under them. Blade has a trench coat over that, and Jessica Biel's wearing a crop top vest with a bra underneath it, I guess.
Ooh,
That wasn't bad. That was pretty good for 04.
Yeah. Still weird.
Although, is part of Dracula's power that he likes to have shirts 3 buttons undone from the top?
Yes.
You know what? Seeing Heatwave with hair is weird.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know about you guys. I watched like the first 3 seasons of Prison Break, which is around this time, and I loved him in that show.
I've never seen the show.
It's an awesome concept for a show to go like 1 season, and I think it went 6.
If we're counting that revival they had.
Oh god. Well, because it was the other show that was on with 24.
Yeah, that's what I remember it as, because it was on after 24 or before 24 or something.
But it was a really cool concept with like kind of like 3 or 4 like lead actors who were amazing character actors. Because you can see it like when you watch The Flash with Dominic Purcell and what's his name that plays Captain Cold?
Have it right here. Wentworth Miller.
Yeah, Wentworth Miller are so good as the 2 leads. And then it's the Spanish guy who's like the current day, always Spanish guy in everything, as like a gang member.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look up his name.
Yeah, there were 5 seasons, including.
He was the bad guy in Max Payne. Is who I'm thinking of.
Robert Nepper?
No, the Spanish guy.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Okay. You also have one of the bad guys from Hitman in this in that show.
Yes, yeah, he was another character actor. He's been in a
And
bunch of stuff.
Transporter 3.
Wait,
Yeah, Robert.
why did she look at the bottom like in a dog cage? Why is there baby in dog cage?
I'm thinking of a Maury Nolasco.
Okay, I know who that is. I know.
Yeah,
the face now.
he's a character actor. I think he was in Deception, which was like a big TV show a couple years ago.
He was in Transformers, I think.
Yes, he was one of the army guys in Transformers. He's always either a army guy or a gangbanger because he's Spanish. He's Hispanic. Yeah, I don't know why. Like all the day shots of this really bother me. That was fucking horrendous.
Look how bad that baby looks. It's a really bad model.
I think that's a baby in his hands there.
Yeah, I mean, like that baby looks better than the American Sniper baby.
That's
Well,
true.
that's the worst baby of all time.
Yeah.
It's like that baby and the zombie baby from
What about Twilight?
that baby's really bad too.
That baby's bad. Ugh.
What's the movie? The remake they did in the
Dawn of the
mall
Dead.
zombie movie? Dawn of the Dead. That zombie baby's horrendous.
Yeah.
I don't like this concept either. Which is weird, like, because in the Hellsing anime, like he can walk through the daylight.
See, Hellsing Ultimate has been forever ruined for me.
You mean improved?
Yes.
I was gonna say Hellsing Ultimate is like the best version of Hellsing.
I
Yeah.
did, but then the abridged series came out.
You know, it's
That's
funny
what I
because
mean.
I didn't. I like DBZ Abridged. I did not see much of what DBZ Abridged did other than DBZ Abridged.
The Hellsing one is good. The Final Fantasy one is really good.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen the Hellsing one. It's good.
The Hellsing one is really good.
I actually should probably like maybe revisit the Final Fantasy VII Abridged one because I never played Final Fantasy VII until the remake, which
Uh-huh.
I
I
Do not
found out
know,
on
I have
Deku, the voice of
barely
Deku
played
the voice of Deku in the English dub of My Hero is Cloud in that abridged show, which is kind of cool.
but it's like maybe like once because like I play a bridge or not bridge the remake I love it a
Oh wait,
lot.
we have to stop talking because Jessica Biel got some lines.
God, I hate Bachelor sounds. It's really fun. Like,
I don't even understand what she did. She like shot him with soapy putty.
it's
Looks
like
like
insulation
toothpaste.
foam to stop
And
bleeding.
you
and
just put her-
I don't know. They have it in the Halo ODST, but that's a fucking video game.
Also, I feel like she has way too much blood on her for what just happened.
Apparently, it gushed out.
Okay, this is like something that bothers me in all movies that do this. So they reshot a scene from the first movie for this movie. That is not the clip from the first movie. Which one bothers me. It's also way too long of a clip. And the character we gave 12 lines to, we're now going to see shower. Sexy shower off blood. Like
That's how it goes.
Also, isn't this kind of like rape victim-y? Like way she's showering in like a fetal position? Like, why would you shower that way? It's not your blood. Like, it was your buddy's blood and he's alive.
I mean, you don't want the blood on you regardless.
Oh, look, she's got a shirt under her vest and he's watching Star Trek. Also, Ryan Reynolds' beard is way too sculpted.
He has like a Ra's al Ghul thing going on with like two
Yeah.
like strips on the side.
Yeah, they bleached his like hair. Well, I also think that's not his beard on the bottom.
Oh, those are definitely like clip-ons.
That's like glue. That's a lot of glue. Oh, I forgot. Like, oh, we're back to Parker Posey. Every scene that she's in is great. Oh, Dominic Purcell is displaying his cum gutters.
Very nice. I was also going to say that.
That's a weird thing to say. Their like weird Dracula mythology is very wonky. So he's older than Christ?
Yes, he's at least 2,000 years old.
Yeah, and they talk about his introduction. They said he ruled Babylon, so that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't
In the
like
in the one, was it not Bram Stoker? There was this one vampire movie. They made Dracula turn Judas. That's why he was like allergic to silver for like the 30 pieces of silver. It was a weird, like, I'll have to find that vampire movie, but it was like
yeah.
it was an odd lore they did.
Parker Posey's like way too good for this movie. And she's also way too good for like the bullshit character, which in Superman Return, she's Tessmacher, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
And another movie featuring Pomeranians.
I'm sensing a theme here.
So
Is this weird Dracula sex?
He's just continuing to drink her blood, but it's like I think this is the way to get away with PG-13, so it's not sex.
Well,
But it's definitely very sexual.
It's not PG-13. This movie's rated R.
For what?
Those
Strong, pervasive violence and language.
Those Dracula dildos, man.
You can get away with dildos. I guess like there's human blood and he killed a person pretty early on. I guess it's the language, right?
It's language and it's some sexual content and strong pervasive violence. I'm literally reading the 4-pack Warner Brothers set I have here. The heck is pervasive violence?
It's a violence that keeps happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's all the human blood, which I feel like the other movies didn't really have. I feel like we mostly just saw vampires dying. I feel like to talk about this movie compared to the other two, it takes so long for us to get to the stuff. Like, it's so much. Yeah, I feel like.
Oh, sorry, go on.
There's a lot of what is it? There's just a lot of this like constant building up. There's never like as much action as like 1 or 2 had.
I feel like a lot of that I'm hoping is like because they couldn't get Snipes to film shit.
I'm feeling like that with movies like this. That's usually
it's partly that, and it's also possibly also filming like the script isn't good this time.
Oh, I definitely think the script is not good. Snipes has both way too much power and is not involved. Oh, this is where they are reusing a thing from the first movie that they never showed. So in the first movie, there is a lot of cut stuff if you ever watch like deleted scenes, and they are reusing that concept in here that we talked about with the comic book. I also feel like Snipes is improving and just turning into like characters from his other movies, like New Jack City.
Yeah.
Because like to go through like stuff that we've seen recently, What works with the first two Blade movies, especially the first one, is how small of a story it is. And Blade in like a Daredevil style show works, I think, so well. Yeah, so this I now remember this. I think that they made a scene like this for the first movie, but they decided it didn't look good enough, so they scrapped it. I believe it's on DVD extras, and they reused it for this movie here, where humans are in body bags. So it's like The Matrix, but vampires.
Real talk. Now I want Matrix 4 to be about Matrix
It's-
vampires.
Dude, this is literally just the plot of Daybreak.
Oh, I think Daybreak is not a terrible movie.
Wait, the one with Ethan
It's
Hawke?
fine.
Yeah, Ethan
Hawke
Hawke and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
I like conceptually. I think that's my thing. Like, I love vampire movies. I love vampire action movies. I unironically really like a lot of the Underworld movies, which there's like 6 of them
I
now.
haven't seen like any of the new ones. Like I don't think I've seen 5 yet.
I haven't seen the newest one yet. I saw the one where it was like sort of in the future. I haven't seen the last one though. And that is a
Okay.
movie series that's weird because Kate Beckinsale's married to the director for the first one. Then she doesn't come back for the second one. She's still married to him for the third one, and they're divorced by the fourth and fifth one. So, like, her ex-husband, or her ex-husband, Phil, is the director of all of them.
So actually, speaking of which, going back before I was saying that Dracula, that Gerard Butler Dracula movie I found, it's him as Dracula and Christopher Plummer as Van Helsing.
That sounds weird as fuck.
And
That is weird casting.
This cast has Gerard Butler, Johnny Lee Miller, Christopher Plummer, Danny Masterson from That 70s Show.
Before he got canceled?
Yes. Jerry Ryan.
Oh, 6 of 9?
Nathan Fillion.
Oh, wow.
Shane West.
Interesting.
Is written and directed. Well, actually, Scott Derrickson did an uncredited rewrite, but the guy who made it is the guy who did Drive Angry and the My Bloody Valentine remake.
Oh. Those are both good, aren't they?
I have not. I've seen Drive Angry.
Drive Angry is the Nicolas Cage
so
movie,
instead
right?
of like trying to save
Yes.
the people in the body bags, like Blade was like, "Yo, kill these people," and he totally. And
Okay.
they totally
More ridiculous is Patton Oswalt playing basketball with the other guy who we've seen now 2 other times, while Natasha Lyonne is reading Braille to her daughter.
Oh, hey.
Wait a minute.
No, it's because Dracula in this
Yes,
movie can
He's
shapeshift.
alive. Oh my god.
Oh man, Ryan Reynolds looks like Wolverine here.
You think that's how the Hugh Jackman feud started? He saw this scene and was like, no.
I feel like Ryan Reynolds has the exact same haircut and facial hair in the beginning of X-Men Origins. I also feel like they got Chris Christopherson to film shit when like Blade wasn't around. Or when Wesley Snipes wasn't around.
Didn't he call Ryan Reynolds something? Like cracker or something like that? Or I don't know.
Yeah, he definitely says something racial. Oh, I just remembered what happens to Natasha Lyonne, and it's like really not cool. I don't. Why do you think they made her blind?
Isn't that how she is in the book, or is she like a new character?
I have no idea. But like, does she need to be blind and have a daughter?
The sympathy points, man.
And also, she has a gun. What's she gonna do with it? I feel like it's all for this thing of
Yeah,
like
100%.
touching something and being like, it's blood. Oh, that's her Brooklyn accent. Her Brooklyn
There we
accent is coming out hardcore.
Get out of here.
That's more Schwarzenegger, but I appreciate the effort.
I tried.
And you know what? I love it.
Thank you.
I know we're watching Blade 3, but I'm still like super hyped for Artemis Fowl. I keep getting like notifications for it.
Wow.
Man, I am so excited to watch that.
How much is left of this movie?
You're the one in control.
40 minutes?
Oh.
How is there this much left of this movie? I feel like we're at the like beginning of the Act 3.
I was gonna say, like, this seems like it is just ending now.
Isn't I feel like this is the point in which Act 3 happens. Like starts.
Well,
This is what
Okay. Why is Pat I feel like they're like those two, Pat Oswalt and the other actor, like, we don't want to be covered in corn syrup, so can we just lay next to corn syrup? Because if you looked at them, like, there's
I feel
blood
like
on
Pat
the floor,
Oswalt
but
will
not
be
on
down
top
for
of
the
them.
corn syrup.
I don't know. Working so many days and getting post-it notes from like a coked out Wesley Snipes.
You think Wesley Snipes was so coked out he thought vampires were real, and that's why he was in character? Because he was like, I'm gonna fight vampires.
I also would like to say, only as Wessler is Dracula not unbuttoning all the way down to like the midriff. I remember this scene so much of like him taunting the blind lady and being like, either kill her or don't kill her. Like, this is fucking childish.
Like, where's the game in it for you?
Yeah.
He's like, I see
So,
you. Do you see
can he-
me? Oh, wait.
Can he only shapeshift faces?
I
And-
think no, but that's probably all the budget has in store for him.
Yeah.
And also, why stay in Wessler's face if she's blind?
I feel like you're asking too many questions.
Yeah, Lou, stop trying to break logic in a movie that already breaks logic.
I don't have enough coke to understand this movie.
Clearly.
All right,
too
Lou, so just go buy a lot of cocaine, and you'll understand the movie better. That's how Wesley Snipes did it.
I feel like this is a ripoff of Aliens. That
Oh, that's my favorite invention from Futurama, the fin longer.
I was gonna say that's not like the cheekbone and Finglonger CGI is not.
Yeah.
Now,
All right, so actually,
I
speaking of the post-it notes thing, apparently he sat down with David Goyer and said, I think you need to quit. You're detrimental to this movie. And Goyer's response was, why don't you quit? We've got all your close-ups and we can shoot the rest with your stand-in. And that's when the post-it note thing started.
Nice.
can I say they're both right?
Why are you here? Why are you here?
I just want to say, I remember the Natasha Lyonne thing being really fucked up, and I feel like she's tied up in an extremely sexual
Yeah,
way.
it's probably like a weird bondage thing.
I feel like she's like splayed out, spread eagle, like still alive, like really fucked up. And if my memory serves me, Jessica Biel shoots her. Because I think she loses it when she sees the cane. And I think that she's tied up like in a closet in the lab. Hey, look, blueprints. Yeah, like after watching the second movie, I feel like this movie does a terrible job of like having us care about these side characters. When even in Blade 2, when the side characters are vampires, you're like, oh, I like this ragtag, like this like team. Oh, this is a team of like characters that were built to kill Blade.
I mean, my problem with Blade 3 compared to Blade 2, Blade 2, at least, even when there was no action, was at least constantly exciting.
Well,
like
Blade 2 was like also
and,
constantly action.
Well, not even that. I don't even think that. When the moments when it slowed down and it was just like even some talking parts, like basic talking parts, but Blade at least like it continued to be exciting and engaging. And here it's just like I'm bored. Even in Blade 1, it was like that.
I actually think this is one of the better scenes. It's like, oh, all right, I can understand another writer director trying to lead into the horror more, but they just don't. They lean into the comedy.
God, it would be a great horror. Vampires are like built for horror, but they're at least recently not done very well.
No, it's always done in either like an actiony way, or like it's never the like. I feel like
I mean, you get horror vampires every once in a while. It's not a very popular trope anymore.
I feel like there's a real way. Wait,
Oh yeah, here's the thing.
That only exists when you.
Yeah.
That's a terrible cry.
Yeah, there's no tears on that one.
Also, like, where, like, did he just like punch her in the face a lot?
I think just punched her a couple times and like maybe cut her.
Oh god,
He
was
just
he
like beat her with
iron-
her like walking stick.
But like,
Oh,
she doesn't look that jacked up. I guess she's dead.
Maybe it's like brain damage. I don't know.
no,
No,
I think
she's dead.
She's definitely. Yeah, she's dead.
Oh yeah, she is.
Her eyes are open and they're not moving.
Also, like,
Blade's just like, you gotta
But,
get
like,
leave.
so how
did
You
he
gotta
kill
get
her?
angry.
did he just like strangle her?
Maybe
It didn't look like there was a lot of damage to her.
just died of boredom.
Oh, you ready for the best scene in the movie?
Oh yeah.
You mean the best CGI effect in the movie?
Oh
Yeah,
my
there it
God.
is. Ah,
What's
love it.
weird is like, because that's the only callback to Blade 2.
I
What a
also
good
agree. That's very good. I love it.
All dogs are good dogs.
Well, what's funny is like in Blade 2, when they actually finally show that, it's like so fucked up looking. And then when they do like the autopsy, it's like, oh, this is where they let Guillermo del Toro go full del Toro.
God damn it, Triple
Oh
H.
god, it's so bad CGI.
Ooh, got him.
I feel like Ryan Reynolds was hired for this entire set piece of him just shit talking Triple H.
You're like, yeah, we hired Ryan Reynolds. Can you just be vampire hunter, Van Wilder to a bunch of other vampires?
Well, it's not just vampire because if you look at him, he got fucking shredded for this.
He
Again,
did get shredded, yeah.
Cum Gutters number 2 on Ryan Reynolds, which I've heard like talk like, oh, I can't remember what podcast I was listening to. I think it was maybe How This Get Made, and they're talking like it took Ryan Reynolds covering up his entire body and face to break out in Deadpool because he's too pretty for as funny as he is.
Yeah, it's very true. He can't be pretty and funny. He is both.
Yeah.
The whole system.
I mean, he can. Have you seen Just Friends? That movie's hilarious.
I do actually like Just Friends.
And Waiting.
Waiting is really good too. But like that, they're like D-list movies at best.
I
That's
feel
like,
like Just Friends. Just Friends is
hits
definitely
now.
not a D-list movie. That's becoming more of a cult favorite over the years. I
oh,
think.
it's a cult favorite. I would actually say that's a D-list movie, and Just Friends is like a bigger movie because it's a Sandra Bullock movie.
Oh, that's right. Wait, that's The Proposal.
Oh, The Proposal. Just Friends is the
Amy Smart, where he's fat and then he loses all the weight.
oh, Amy Smart and
Anna Faris.
Anna Faris. I was trying to remember that. Amy Smart, isn't she in Stargirl?
She is, and that show's amazing, by the way.
I've seen the first 2 episodes, and it's really fun.
It's such a good show.
Can't you tell this is such a good movie on how many tangents we've gone on?
Yeah.
I love Parker Posey's hair right now. Like, she's so. Like, I don't want to say she's good in this movie, but I think she's so charismatic that like she works so well in this character. And I remember this being a very sexy scene with her and him. and he's not tramp stamp. Like, what would you call that? Like, pube stamp?
Yeah. Why does he have like Texan bull cow?
Yeah.
I can't take her serious with the hair. I'm sorry.
No, see, I actually think like this is the best thing in the whole movie.
It is, but then the hair happens.
Like it has, I don't mind it, but like I feel like this is the only moment that has any weight, and I think it's the two. Like Reynolds' face acting is good in it, and her delivery is great. It actually reminds me of, I don't remember what season, when Cersei has like the Sand Woman and her daughter, and she's just like, "I'm going to leave you here so you can watch her body rot as she dies from the poison." And like, what the hell's her name that plays Cersei?
Leave the heady.
I'm like, oh, this is like, that is the level of a Parker Posey's giving in that scene, and it's great. And then now we go to Jessica Biel with a bow, not talking. I'm pretty sure that was not Wesley Snipes.
That was Wesley Snipes coming out of his trailer asking if things got different, and then he went back.
Yeah. What's funny is like I feel like this movie has weird parallels to Batman and Robin because they were supposed to spin this off into a her and what's his name again?
Hannibal King
spin-off and continue the Blade movies. Like how Batman and Robin was supposed to turn into a Nightwing and then another Batman movie. I honestly I wonder if someone has counted how many words that she says in this movie. I bet it's under 75.
I was gonna say I realized when Mike was muted on this, but I think Batman and Robin is a better movie than this.
Yeah,
It's
Batman
more
and Robin-
entertaining.
It's dumb, but at least it's entertaining.
Yeah, I realize it's probably a hot take, but you know, like I think Batman and Robin is like a lot more fun, a lot more like.
I honestly, I don't think it's a hot take. I think it's a better. I think it's way more fun to watch. I also want to say, why are we seeing the feet per second?
Oh, I was
Like-
reading that as frames per second. I was like, damn, she got a good rig. But
And I'm also like,
didn't.
that wouldn't change. Like, it's the same bow. It's not like you're doing anything different. Like, you would still be just pulling it back the same.
Hey, it's this dude.
So speaking of which, actually, I'm looking here. They were gonna do a prequel trilogy to Blade with Deacon Frost from the first movie, and once before Marvel got the film rights to Blade back in 2012, they were gonna do a Blade Underworld crossover.
That's great.
That's both terrible and I'm sad it didn't happen.
Yes,
But I do want to say, like, one of the things is that, so we were talking about it earlier, and this is a good point to talk about, because we're getting, like, I'm dead, exposition dump. This will happen in Scream, 25 years before this movie, or whatever it was. Wesley Snipes, after jail, did a lot of meetings with Marvel, and the rumors for a while was that he was going to continue to be Blade. They were going to pseudo fold in the movies into the universe. Not the movies, but like the idea of this character, this version of this character. And he was going to train his daughter to take over his role, who was also a daywalker.
and then Mahershala got cast.
And then Mahershala was like, bitch, I got 2 Oscars, slammed them down on Feige's desk, and was like, I want to be Blade. And they were like, cool, guy, whatever you want to do with your 2 Oscars, we'll
Literally
give you what you
anything
want.
you want to do.
Yeah, the literal story is that he had his people get him Is it Feige's
Came into a
number?
meeting with Feige, yeah. Feige.
I don't even think it was. I think it was a phone call.
Oh, I thought
And-
it was he came into the office.
And whatever it was, he was just like, "I want to be Blade," and they're like, "You can be Blade. You're Blade. Thank you, guy. I know that you were Cottonmouth, and then you went to go. You left Luke Cage season 1 to go film your Oscar award-winning movie that you also won an Oscar for, and you were amazing in. So you can be Blade." Which is the saddest thing. Is like he's so good.
Hang on. Is this the scene where we just find out that it will kill every vampire in sight, including the Daywalker?
They don't know if it'll kill him,
Okay.
but they're like, "Oh, if you kill the original, it'll create an airborne virus that'll go across the entire world. So then all the vampires will die. We have no idea if it'll kill you."
Gotcha.
Now we have Dracula talking to a child next to his Shao Kahn armor.
But, oh God. Really quick, back on that Mahershala thing. I was saying before the chat, before we started this, was I would love to see Wesley
This
come
writing
back
is
as
horrendous.
Whistler. Yes, this is.
Because not that Dominic Purcell's a great actor, but I've seen him do stuff that's good, both in Legends and other stuff.
Mind you, this is also coming from the man who wrote Batman v Superman.
Yes.
Yikes. Okay.
Just want to throw that out
okay.
there.
Can we just go? So we have our weapons like gearing up montage. The Jessica Biel part is she's buckling her belt, and we see her dove tattoo on her belly, and now she's downloading her songs to her iPod, which wouldn't she already have?
Maybe
You would think, but
maybe
she
it's
likes to
dramatic
upload
to the
every day.
iPod. I don't know. Maybe it's just
Yeah,
different.
Maybe she just has a regular 2 gig iPod and she has to update her
No,
list
she
all the
actually
time.
only like puts 60 songs on there, which means that she only knows 60 songs.
Oh, I do love the one weapon he has. I can't remember which movie they introduced it. That it's very much a Predator weapon, where it's like the boomerang blade.
Oh, that was Blade 2, I think.
Yeah.
I explicitly remembered like a bunch of guys getting cut up with that in Blade 2.
I do think one of the things that sucks is watching Jessica be able to bow and arrow post both seeing Hawkeye and Stephen Amell's Green Arrow is so much worse. Wow, we are really going to take a solid 2 minutes to show him putting.
They actually have to pad for time, so this is why we have these crazy.
And we've
stuff
seen
on.
7 minutes of her with this fucking vial.
Wait,
And-
didn't he have his glasses on before? Why is he putting
Yeah.
it back on?
Because they're
Oh,
He needs
got
double
shot.
shades.
We got 2 shots of her tattoo.
Yeah, synchronized together.
Yeah.
Motorcycles.
What I do find funny is that like her costume would fit into the CW verse,
Yeah,
Which
it
I
looks like a
think-
CW costume.
which says I think says worse about this movie because they're working on a shoestring budget on CW.
Yeah, and they still make it look good.
Oh,
Best they can.
fuck it. I don't know what it is, but every time like we cut to Triple H,
You
it's
just get angry. You've been getting angry at Triple H every
looks-
single moment.
He looks preposterous, and they don't call like I feel like they called out one time that he looks preposterous. Oh, I just remembered what happened to this in the scene, and it's so fucking dumb. So they tagged him like you would do a Pomeranian with a GPS.
He's already been chipped.
But like Triple H is in a polo shirt, and he looks preposterous. Like he's so steroided out. Standing next to Parker Posey and this other guy, he looks so bad. Like if he had a beard, he would look so much like more intimidating as like the Bruiser. He just looks like a weird juice head with his ponytail.
He looks like he's the manager of your local Best Buy.
Oh my god. No, he looks like the assistant manager.
Very true.
Like he's tries way too hard. Like it's actually funny, like what's that Dane Cook movie in like a Costco.
Employee of the month.
Yeah, I feel like Triple H would be a really good sidekick to Dax Shepard's character in that movie. Oh, that was a line that was used a lot when I was in high school when this movie came out.
Oh, does this mean Triple H dies?
No. They put like silver nitrate in the air conditioning. Again, to go back to Constantine, this is worse. And he just burps silver. He burps a fireball. I think Ryan Reynolds is doing fine in this film.
He's doing his best.
He's trying.
Yeah,
It's
he's
Tom Hardy in Venom,
doing
where
with
it's
what
like
he
he's having
can.
a lot of fun with his role.
Yeah, I mean Ryan Reynolds is trying, but like let's also talk about Triple H. He's also trying, right?
No, he's
I
not.
think he's trying,
he's
but
not.
like his best feature is he's really good for Wesley Snipes to kick through a wall. Because I think that's the second or third time he's done it.
I was also joking, but yes, you're right.
Like, I feel like if you're gonna have a wrestler in this movie, have Snipes do a really good hand-to-hand combat thing with them.
Batista.
Oh yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna say like Batista has. I actually think he's a better actor than The Rock. I think he has like an ability to emote that Triple H does not.
Well, I feel like that's because he's like the more unsuspecting actor, where The Rock is now at a point where he just keeps churning out the same kind of movie. And don't get me wrong, I love The Rock's movies, but a lot of it feels like a formula, a factory. Yep.
Again, everybody's in like cool badass armor, and she's in like a t-shirt. Not even, it's like a...
Don't forget those earphones, those earbuds.
And the trip hop. Don't forget the trip hop.
Ah, yes, The Matrix. That 5 years.
It's still a really relevant movie. I think like Reloaded just came out.
Oh, yeah, because when I think of relevant movies, Matrix Reloaded's up there, along with Matrix Revolutions.
Look, I love the Matrix movies. I stand by all three of them.
I don't mind the second. I have a lot of problems with the third.
Rewatch them. I would highly suggest rewatching them. They hold up like really well. But hey, look, it's an okay action scene. You know, that's like a lot of cuts and angles.
It's a decidedly action scene.
Well, I do think one of the things I noticed is like it's very gun heavy and not a lot of fighting. Oh my god. Boot blade?
All right,
I feel like
cool.
That's been a cliche since like 1980.
Boot blades are cool.
Yeah, but like I remember seeing a boot gun in Tango and Cash, and that's like 85.
That's a very good point. It's a pretty old gimmick.
I feel like this is one of the like 3 movies I've ever noticed CGI blood, which also like why are vampires bleeding? Hey, look, it's an Asian character. He knows kung fu. Wait, did she just use a hidden blade from Assassin's Creed?
She used it a couple times. She used it first at the train station.
There's that badass.
Oh,
blade.
this is like that was a trailer shot.
Yep.
Did you see that my mom's dead body that was somehow magically killed?
Yeah. Also, did you know that your name was Abby?
I literally did not know her name. So she's Abby Wessler?
Abigail.
Wesker?
Whistler.
Wesker is Resident Evil.
I feel like that's why I keep messing up.
Oh, little dog.
See, I actually don't mind this.
Yeah, it's like if anyone was gonna fight like dog vampires, it'd be Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it's good.
I feel like it's him and Parker Posey really lift this movie up from being like completely unwatchable.
Yes.
And this, like, strangely has way more connective tissue to the second movie than the second one does the first one.
I like how they just straight up stole this scene from Resident Evil.
Which is funny that I keep saying Wesker.
Yeah, because Resident Evil is still a
Okay,
better movie.
can I say I like that just happened, where the Rottweilers kind of overrun the Pomeranian?
I
like all right, I like that scene. I like the entire sequence.
I don't know why a car swerved because they fell onto like a
What a dumbass.
I kind of like him. I think it's just because Ryan Reynolds is so likable and good.
That's good.
I think that's what it is.
So now we get the long-awaited match between Ryan Reynolds and Triple H.
I just like, could they have put him in anything besides a polo shirt and black trousers?
Honestly, they could have, but
I think it's like
the Assistant Best Buy image that it gives off.
All right, can I make
like
a suggestion? In the plot synopsis for this episode, can we just put Lou gets mad at, spoilers, Lou gets mad at Triple H a lot?
Sure.
I think it's like also unfortunate that Triple H does not have a wrestling move.
Wait, best line.
Okay.
There we go.
What do you
Alrighty,
think?
motherfucker. That's
And then-
also been something that's been used since the original Terminator, and then like, oh
I do think this song kind of slaps though.
no, this is good.
I think this is Crystal Method who did this song.
That sounds about right.
Because
Yeah.
I've heard this song in trailers before, and I think it's Crystal Method.
I want to say, like, I don't mind the final fight being a sword fight. It's this fight that's like, literally,
This is
if
really
he was
bad.
wearing anything else, it would make his character more interesting. Him being dressed in the douchiest clothes, like the most boring clothes, not douchey. He's wearing slacks with like a dress belt and a polo shirt.
I think also like the problem with Triple H being a villain is that his big wrestling moves to pedigree, which requires
It's impossible.
it's
movie.
impossible. Yeah, it's impossible within an action movie. Like it works with The Rock because he has the rock bottom, and you can easily do that within any action movie. And
Can I say this? I haven't seen it in a very, very long time. I don't remember hating Edge this much in Highlander 76 or whatever it was. Wait, Ryan Reynolds just did an armbar?
Yeah, I mean like The Rock does the rock bottom in the Scorpion King, and he does it in
The Rundown?
The Rundown.
No, I have a question about this Wesley Snipes fight. Real talk. Do you think this is Wesley's stunt double, or if it's the actual Wesley?
1,000% it's Wesley Snipes.
Okay, I was gonna say, if it is the actual Wesley Snipes stunt double, is he on cocaine thinking he fights Dracula?
See, I actually want to say, like, that is the best thing in this entire movie from Triple H. So I was gonna say, like, why would he give a shit about an armbar? He's a fucking vampire. I do think, like, I think the problem is like, if you're going to have a character who's to go to like the original
Are we
kind
still
of
on his look?
There we go.
My
That's
God.
a
No.
wrestling move.
I'm
That's
going
a
to say
wrestling
from
move.
the original like comic movie, if you go to like Superman and it's Zod, and then what are the two characters? It's from Superman 2, it's who is his two henchmen? It's the woman and the guy.
I got it. Hang on.
If you're gonna have a character like that, then just make him make him the dumbest character, but be like a awesome boss fight.
Ursa and Non.
Yeah. If you're gonna make him make him just a walking like truck of a human, like of a monster. I actually feel like one of the things that makes him bad is that he's not dumb and funny enough. Because I actually think that this, like, the way he dies is fine, but it's not worth it because you just don't give a shit about him. It's also lame that like Ryan Reynolds takes out Triple H and fights Parker Posey.
Yeah, like we couldn't leave one for Jessica Biel.
Yeah. Oh, that is. Oh no. Vampire cheekbones.
And Hypnotoad and flying.
Oh. See, but like I conceptually like the idea of Blade getting into a sword fight. Except that his sword is a fucking bone sword.
Oh, hang on, Heatwave's got to take his shirt off.
Yeah, he's got to show us some cunt gutters. Like, I feel like that's a move they should have given to Triple H. He's going full Shao Kahn.
Oh no.
See, what I don't like is this idea that Dracula has the same fucking mouth from the second movie, as well as his head transforms into like a crown of sorts, like the devil. Oh my! Wait, does he have teeth? Does he have vents, or are those teeth on his nipples?
They're vents.
Why does he look like Tim Curry from Legend?
That was you pulled that from my mind. I was like, what movie is Tim Curry like? Is it Legend?
It's Legend.
You know, it's like I maybe like talked about this like last when we were talking about Captain Britain, but it's like the idea that like, oh, we're gonna do our more modern badass interpretation of Dracula. When like at the end of the day, like the classic interpretation of Dracula is already fucking cool because he's like this old evil kind of look to him. And it's like you don't really need to do much more than that.
Oh, this is so bad. No, but I agree with you. Like, I like the idea of like what I like in the comic that we read is like I like the idea that Dracula is this like cunty aristocrat, like Bela Lugosi character for forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it is one of the things I like in To Go to Helsing that like I like that they do where he's like he has this sense where he's lived forever and he wants like a good death, and making him this weird character in this movie is so much worse. And it's worse than that Marvel comic you're talking about. Like, also I'm pretty sure this makes no scientific sense. So they just like aerosoled this cure, like this permanent death.
Pretty much.
And then like all the vampires underneath them or like die.
This is also oddly sexual.
Very, very sexual. I like how all the like little cellular bugs have like weird bat sounds.
Yeah, I feel like this is very much of the time, but this is also we need to like a lot of fucking filler. I like how she turns before it even happens.
She wanted to look it in the eyes.
I thought Ryan Reynolds died in this movie.
No, they were like I said, they were supposed to spin this off.
Oh man, like if I thought like I remembered him dying. I guess I was wrong.
I feel like one of the problems of this movie is it suffers from the issue they originally had in the first one, which was turning the bad guy into like losing the character that was interesting. Yeah, like all this this monologue would be interesting if it paid off anything that was built up, but it doesn't. Dracula has no honor. He like fucking threw a baby off a roof.
Yeah.
I feel like that's also the problem of removing the idea of him being this prince that was like the historical stuff of Dracula, like of
and like
Vlad
really,
the Impaler.
like, well, and also he's like historically Vlad the Impaler, but like at the same time, like, did you ever buy it within any of this within this movie?
Well, he wasn't in this movie. He's not Vlad the Impaler. He's some like other ancient being.
But
He's
but
just
like
straight. No, he's straight up Dracula or Drake.
but like it's like you're supposed to like essentially like buy that he's like an ancient vampire, and like, do you ever buy it? There's
No,
nothing
he's
about-
a dude. He's a dude, bro, from like SoCal in his like gothy like midriff show, like shirts buttoned down to his midriff.
I mean, that's the thing about like the first time like within like Captain Britain when he meets Doctor Doom. It's like he has such an old, outdated view and like is basically super racist. And Doctor Doom is like, like whatever, man, like fuck off, you know.
Right. Is this supposed to be the FBI? Because wouldn't they just open fire on them? It's like, you guys killed a shit ton of cops. Fuck y'all. We don't believe in vampires. Because guess what? They all turned to ash. Slow motion
this is
James
some-
Remar.
Ash, it's all on fugger.
I'm transferring to Miami and I'm gonna run a outfit that like tries to capture street racers.
Honestly, that's super canon.
All of James Remar movies, like also like that one movie where there's like a super tournament where there was a French guy. I'm replacing that French guy. I'm gonna give up my immortality into the sequel.
How come they just left him? Why did they leave Blade? Why didn't they?
Okay, the worst CGI in this movie is this right here.
It's like they have so many aerial shots of Vancouver. Why didn't they just use one?
That was SimCity.
That was.
Wait, they think Blade's dead?
Hey, this is where we get to see all of his tattoos. And they're like, do you hear that magic wind? Because if you don't, then who cares? Wouldn't everybody just be like, the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Actually, quick question: is this the unrated cut?
I have no idea. I am not streaming this legally. I also never saw that scene before, so I guess it is.
I think this is the unrated cut because that scene is in the unrated cut where, yeah. I was gonna say I also have this movie on DVD. We could have watched it that way. I have a DVD player in here.
No,
Yeah,
wasn't that Dracula that was in the
Wait.
hospital?
Wait,
No, that was him.
you allowed a
Are you
copy
sure?
of Blade within your own home?
Blade Trinity.
Wow.
No, here's why. It's that 4-pack that Warner Brothers has.
Oh, I was looking for that online, where it's the
Yeah.
3 movies and the Blade TV series movie.
Yes.
Which I feel like,
The anime?
no, they did
No.
there was a TV series that is a sequel to the movie.
I think I vaguely remember that.
Yes, and they did a TV movie based on that series that's in that 4-pack.
Yeah, it's so
The
that's why
series had
I,
its moments.
that's why I willingly have a copy of Blade Trinity because getting the other 3 movies was a pretty nice deal.
Yeah, because the show wasn't bad, and it not the titular character, but wasn't
Because it was on Spike
yes.
in 2006, and it starred Sticky Fingers as Blade.
Yes, he was not bad, and he looks like the Blade from the comic. He has a shaved head. It's not terrible. It's probably better than this movie. So, on our scale of movies we have watched, where do you place? Like, let's do our. So we have watched
Right
Cats,
above.
Hellboy, Blade Trinity, and didn't we watch something else?
Cats.
Yeah.
What? No, Cats, Bloodshot. So
Hellboy.
let's go through our rating. Let us start with John Scott. What is your
All
go
right.
through your 4?
So for me right now, it's gonna be Cats.
Is that you're going bottom to top, right?
I'm going top bottom.
Oh, top bottom. Okay.
I'll go top bottom. So Cats. Probably this movie. Hellboy, Bloodshot. Although Hellboy and Blade Trinity, you could switch at any time for me.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Mine will be top to bottom. Mine would be Blade, Hellboy, Bloodshot, then Cats.
Siler?
Top to bottom, Cats, absolutely number 1.
God, guys suck.
Number 2, I feel like Blade Trinity because it's like it like has more narrative of the previous films. It has like more kind of like upscale and like more like kind of like good performances. Hellboy, no, Bloodshot. Bloodshot, because I feel like Bloodshot is like it is what it is. You don't expect like more from it. Hellboy lasts because you expect more from it.
Connor Irving?
Yeah, no, I'm fairly certain it's going to be pretty similar. Number 1 is Cats, because oddly enough, that's the best movie we've ever watched. 2 is Bloodshot, because it was quicker and the action scenes were like a little bit snappier. 3 is Blade Trinity, because God, this movie was just so long. It just felt so boring at times, where it's like, okay, come on, let's go. Let's get to at least something manageable. And finally Hellboy, which I yelled about frequently in the last one.
I wasn't there for Hellboy, but I don't lie.
I was angry.
I feel like it's. Sorry, Ryan, you're completely outvoted. Cats is easily number 1. The most rewatchable of these movies, which is insane to say.
I watched it twice.
I feel like, and I think this is why we watch Blade Trinity. Blade Trinity and 2019 Hellboy suffer from so many similar problems. So they're sequels to Guillermo del Toro movies that were great, that were arguably good, and had good casting, had good chemistry. They suffer from bad writing. Trinity suffers from much more problems with the lead character. Like, we don't get that in Hellboy. So I think that is why I put
behind the scenes.
I think that is why I put Hellboy 2 and Trinity 3 and Bloodshot 4. Because my thought is,
So
like,
we all agree with that, Blood.
I think Bloodshot is 4 for everybody, except for Ryan, who had Cats 4.
I put Bloodshot 2.
And
Oh, you put Bloodshot
except
too?
for me. Because I think Bloodshot
I feel like 3 to 2 we all
not as
agree.
bad as Hellboy.
I feel like David Harbour does enough for me in Hellboy that, like, I can watch him be Hellboy. When in Bloodshot, I'm just like, besides the one sequence, the tunnel flower sequence, I don't give a shit about the rest of the movie. And
I remember like being in the moment and liking the guy who's like basically like the evil programmer who realizes he's evil, and then you have like the
Indian guy, the dick joke guy,
the guy who's like, oh, like I'm a good guy, like,
oh, the black guy,
yeah,
who's the best character in the whole movie.
That guy, and then like the one female character who's like, oh hey, like I'm also not a bad guy. Like,
is she? What's funny is, I feel like she barely gets more to do than Jessica Biel in this movie.
Probably. Oh, absolutely.
And she gets about as many lines. She gets about as many lines.
Here's my problem. at least this movie was somewhat interesting-ish. Blade Trinity or Bloodshot was just boring.
Yeah, I think that's why Bloodshot's poor for me. Bloodshot's poor.
Yeah. You know what?
Bloodshot's
Actually,
quicker.
you're gonna hate me for this. I'm gonna switch my views. I'm gonna put Hellboy 2, Blade 3, just because like thinking about it and thinking back
man,
to when I
you're-
saw Hellboy.
Your shit's all fucked up.
Yeah, I
Here.
think me and John Scott are in the same place. Like, I don't know what it
Hellboy
is.
is a
Like,
bad movie. I'm never gonna deny that Hellboy is a bad movie.
I
The
think
thing is though, is that I'm entertained at least. I hate it, but I'm entertained.
I completely agree with you, John Scott. Like, I think the problem with like both Blade and Hellboy was like, I'm just like, I just want to watch the other Blade or Hellboy movies.
Yeah,
But
I would also say, like, of all the films like we're ranking right now, like the only one I would ever like rewatch is Cats. Like,
yeah, I feel like we
everything-
have to remove Cats from the conversation so far
Yeah,
because
because
it's
now
like
it's just number one for everybody.
I
It's
do
like
feel like
Cats,
Artemis
of
Fowl
Oh no,
is
there was someone here. I don't remember who it was, but someone had Cats as their like last place.
Oh, Ryan did.
Yeah. But like I would absolutely watch Cats over like any of these other films. Like 100%. And really like when I try and rank like what I like from like 1 to 0, like basically it's Cats and then like everything else. Cuz like Cats is like weird and bad in an interesting and fun way, while the other films we watched like since here are like bad and also really kind of boring and bad.
Yeah, I think about it in a rewatchability. I would rewatch Cats. I have zero, like you would have to put a gun to my head to rewatch Bloodshot. I think I would rewatch Hellboy and Blade Trinity if I was watching the other movies. And because Blade Trinity stars the same actor of the other two movies, I put it below Hellboy because it bothers me so much more of how bad it is. And I think we watched this movie because I was like, oh, Blade Trinity's better than Hellboy. And I don't think it is. Like, I think it's worse. Like, besides Parker Posey and Ryan Reynolds, I really don't give a shit about this movie, like, at all.
We're all forgetting the real question is how Artemis Fowl is going to be number 1 in all of our hearts when we watch it next.
I don't think
Yeah.
so. I think it's probably going to be our worst one. I feel like that.
Yeah,
might be the one that we
Well,
complain about.
so here's the thing. Like, I have like absolutely no history on Artemis Fowl. I've never read the books or the comics or the adaptations or anything. Like,
Same.
I'm going in Artemis
Same.
Fowl as a film only. So,
Yeah.
and I've heard the film is bad.
I'm not going into that. I'm going into it as someone who has read at least the first 2 books because that's what the movie's based on. The movie is based on.
I was going to say I've only read the first 4 books myself, and
And I think
that
that's,
four.
I think
How many
I-
fucking books are there?
There's
And
a
I think
lot.
that's going to be like really
16,
fun
20.
as someone who is like not experienced within the minutia of a series, experience it with someone who is experienced with the minutia of a series.
I'm not that experienced. I did reread them for the first time like recently, but I do remember at least like knowing about what the first book was. I remember watching the trailer for this. I'm like, that's not right. That is not how this goes. Let me see. And Lou, to give you an idea, there are like 7 books in the series. Oh no, I'm sorry. 8 books.
Oh, wow.
Which
So,
will probably
Connor,
never-
you've read a vast majority of the books.
well, again, like 15 years ago when I was in like middle school. But yeah, I absolutely did read them.
Yeah, I read them when I was a kid, and I just found like 2 copies recently. Of the first 2 books. I reread them, knowing the movie was coming out, and yeah, so it's fresh in my mind.
Wow. So that is obviously the next thing we're going to do. That's on Disney Plus. That came out, I think, this past Friday.
It did,
Yeah,
man. I'm
too.
here. I'm looking at these reviews, and I'm like, this sounds like an Aragon situation. Let's go.
Oh, that is something I have seen.
I saw a gif of a man basically like repositioning his jaw, eating sand and farting sand. So I'm good. Like
That's,
I'm ready.
That's Josh Gad, guys. That's Josh Gad.
It's
Oh,
just
wait,
Gad.
he's in that?
Yeah.
He's the guy that farts sand. Oh man, poor guy.
He's
Oh,
Mulch Diggums,
Apparently,
I think.
he's the best part of it. Yeah.
I heard
he's
he's good in the show, which I want to watch. Is it HBO show? I think in space with Hugh Laurie.
Oh, is he in that?
Yes, he's the guy that's like the designer. Like he's
and
the architect.
I should point out we have a returning Phantom Zone Now Comics movie watch alumni. Judi Dench is in this movie.
Oh shit! Okay, we have to keep track of that. So it is 12:40 in the morning. So for us on the East Coast.
Yeah,
So
fair.
Is there anything else anybody wants to say? So if you're listening to this, our next movie is obviously Artemis Fowl. So this will be coming out this week, and Artemis Fowl will be coming out. Probably we're gonna figure out the next week. Anything else anybody wants to say?
You can find me at John JOHN_FN_Seiler SCILER on Twitter. And you can also find me at the same handle on basically any other social media outlet. And hey, protect your rights and stand up for your rights.
All right, I'll go. I am on. You know what? I'm not going to promote Twitter. I'm going to promote my letterbox because that's where I'm putting all my movie reviews for everything we've done, and I'm keeping a list of what we've watched for Phantom Zone watch parties. So yeah, that's JamScott193, same as my Twitter. So just follow me on there, and come listen to me talk about movies. It's fun.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Question Connor. That's where I sometimes say things that are funny, or at least that I think is funny. Other than that, I don't know, stand up for your rights and make sure everybody has a safe space or whatever.
Ryan, you got anything?
No, just watch Cats. It's a good time.
It's better than this movie.
It's a really good one.
I think our goal is to find a movie, find a bad movie for us to watch better than Cats. Which like we're trying to. I would say like we're trying to stay in the comic book genre, besides obviously Cats. And I think the comic book like in the genre field.
Also, didn't we watch Street Fighter? Like that's all still the worst film we've seen.
Yes, we watched that for the Smallville Chronicles thing. And
wait, are you talking about Chun-Li or the Jean-Claude Van Damme?
The Chun-Li one.
The Chun-Li one? Are you kidding me?
I am still mad that you guys made me watch that movie, and then you guys just didn't pod when I was on, and I wasted my evening watching that garbage. I was so upset.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
I was actually watching Blade Trinity. There's like the random sort of Asian character. I'm like, oh, that could have been Kristen Kirk. We have to figure out what we're gonna watch after Artemis Fowl. There's lots of bad comic book movies. I feel like, or like genre movies. I kind of want to dip our toes. We'll have to see with the higher ups if we want to dip our toes into some of the bad. What are they? Not noir. What's it? The pulp character movies from like the mid '90s.
Oh, dude, we do dark.
Like the Shadow and the Phantom.
That's the Shadow.
The Phantom was the one I was thinking of because fuck, I have a love-hate relationship with that movie.
I was gonna say, like, I have like zero memory of the Phantom, so
the Phantom is like
the Alec Baldwin one, right?
You probably do remember that Kathleen Zeta-Jones is in that movie.
The only thing I remember about that movie is Billy Zane's in that movie.
Yeah, it's like he's the main character. I thought you guys were gonna like try and pull out the movie. What is it? The Spirit with Samuel L. Jackson.
We already did that.
We recorded that for a thing because we watched The Spirit and
I don't remember that.
And I don't think it ever came out.
It was on the main show. I don't know if it did or not.
Were they like dressed up in vaguely Nazi gear at some point?
Oh, it's not vaguely. He's dressed as a Nazi.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Not vaguely. Totally Nazi gear.
We can talk about this soon. Right now it's almost 12:45 on the East Coast.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna figure out what our movie is. We'll probably talk about it on the Artemis Fowl episode.
I was gonna say the next movie is probably Artemis Fowl, and then we will decide on the next movie.
Yeah, I feel like Artemis Fowl is going to be like, Connor, can you explain what's going on? Who are these people?
That's a very. I have to brush up on my lore.
No, and I'm also like kind of excited to like kind of watch a film that I have like no
Connection.
like knowledge or basis or connection to, and then like experience it through someone else who has completely connections to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I had no connections to Bloodshot, but yeah, having somebody who like cares about this is going to be fun. So
It's gonna
on
be
that episode, Connor, you have to be on, and you are going to be the lead of the show.
Okay, I will. I'll brush up on
All
my
right.
lore actually as much as I can.
Connor, I'll be your number 2 for this one.
Thanks, man.
All
I'll
right,
need it.
so let's close this out. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends about this, and yeah, we'll check you guys next time. Adios.
Hey, I love you.
Hey, Black Lives Matter, and continue to fight, everyone.
It seems I've been asleep for 1,000 years. The way my water changed, it brain me 1,000 tears. Prince of darkness, been walked through the razor right. Fear of empire, I'm the prototype. The shape shift the mirror image, flash phototype. The everlasting original red letter rights.
Born perfect, and just like a great red shark, stays never ending. Same thing. Each one of them tastes different.
I sway back with a vision, the father of the civic, and I can't be defended. I get so across minutes. Bloody holy water, you make the false images. Watch wait for the sickle. You like the medicine, sting like the scorpion. Fight with the fortune. The blood is over the final line, the corpse of men. In the last day, they said they never walk again. The blind have the walk again.